Chapter 22-25 Fairy from Heaven, Instant Kill. Chapter 22-25 Fairy from Heaven, Instant Kill. Of course, it was also possible for him to turn the bike into air. Highly toxic tracking. Long Fei released the poison crazily, and started killing the boars too. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing red-eyed wild boar. Reward, 100 experience points, true chi value, 10 points. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing red-eyed wild boar. Reward, 100 experience points, true chi value, 10 points. Ding. The system beeped crazily. It was getting closer and closer to 100 sets of task goal. Looking at Long Fei crazily killing the red-eyed wild boar, the bulldrome was even more furious. He rushed towards the big buffalo, whose body was even bigger than the big buffalo. The water buffalo trembled slightly and immediately said, "Brother Pig, don't be angry, I am also a demon beast." Not waiting for him to finish, the bulldrome suddenly nudged. The great water cow was frightened. It turned around and said, "Brother Pig, don't be like this, there's something we can discuss." Bam! Another collision. The great water cow narrowly avoided his attack again, and turned around to see Long Fei's violent battle. Even the great water cow's heart was trembling. "Brother Long, are you done yet? I can't hold on any longer. Persevere for a few more seconds." Long Fei replied as the sky sword quickly made its move. A bitter expression appeared on the water buffalo's face. A few seconds is a few seconds. Ayo! Bulldrome bent his body over the water buffalo and the water buffalo let out a miserable cry. The water buffalo retreated several thousand kilograms and said, "I can't hold on, I really can't hold on." However, the great water cow didn't abandon Long Fei. Instead, it turned to Bulldrome and said, "Damn, your father has already given you face, right? Don't you not know what's good for you? If you are capable, why the F***ck are you chasing after me?" Finished. The great water buffalo turned around and dashed out. However, the bulldrome didn't even look at him and rushed towards Long Fei in large strides. Its eyes turned blood red. These red-eyed boars were all his descendants. How could they not be enraged when they saw their own descendants being slaughtered just like that? Bang, bang, bang. His footsteps were like thunder, crazily rushing towards Long Fei. The great water bull ran out and turned to look at Bulldrome rushing towards Long Fei. His heart skipped a beat. "This is bad. Brother Long, run." As he shouted, the water buffalo also charged towards him. 96 heads. Boom. 97 heads. Die. Long Fei did not stop there to kill. He had also noticed the strong beast-like pressure heading towards him, but he remained calm in his heart. 98. Boom. Another red-eyed boar fell. Bang, bang, bang. They were only 10 meters away from Long Fei, and in the blink of an eye, they were already in front of him. Long Fei's heart also tensed up, the sky sword in his hands fiercely thrusted out. Pa Kai, Pa Kai. 2 wild boars were killed in a string, the 100th. Boom. As the 2 wild boars fell, a system notification sounded. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing red-eyed boar for obtaining 100 experience and 10 true chi point. Ding. Congratulations player Long Fei for completing 100 red-eyed wild boar quests. Rewards, 1000 experience points, 100 true chi points, 10 arrogant god energy value point. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 4th grade refining body, level 4. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the quest with a score of S level. You have received a special reward from the system. Fairy from Heaven. Do you wish to cultivate it? Fairy from Heaven. Dugu City's unique skill. A shocking sword strike. Long Fei muttered, This is AF** King godly technique. Cultivate. Cultivate. Long Fei shouted continuously. Dugu Cheng and Shimon Fengxue had already used it during the battle at the peak of the Purple Taboo. Although they had been defeated, this sword technique could be said to be the pinnacle of sword strikes. An extremely powerful existence. Skills, Fairy from Heaven grade, Divine skill consumption, All true chi cooldown, 20 hours. Description: possesses extraordinary strength. Flying immortal stage with one sword attack. F*CK, a fierce contest. Bulldrome, right? The beasts might can crush your father, right? Long Fei's body sank as he pointed at the bulldrome that was charging towards him with the sky sword S, and the corner of his mouth curled up slightly. It was also at this time. Moonlight shone through the clouds. A peculiar light flashed from the sky sword. This light was very special. At the same time, in another world, Long Zhanting, whose entire body was covered in blood within the Dragon Abyss dungeon, suddenly raised his head. His eyes flashed with a sharp light and became extremely excited. Feia, you're still alive. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Then, Long Zhanting laughed out arrogantly, his long, graying hair fluttering in the wind like a demon. The dragon-locked chain coughed loudly, shaking the entire Dragon Abyss dungeon. For the past 100 years, Long Zhanting had always kept his head down, suppressing the inside of the Dragon Abyss. However, he was not dead. He believed his son was still alive. He firmly believed in this. Now, he could feel the aura of the sky sword, even though it was very weak, he could feel it. This meant that his son Long Fei was still alive. The sky sword had accompanied him for countless years, and the sky sword had also recognized Long Zhanting as its master. Back then, the reason why Long Zhanting kept the sky sword was so he could pass it down to Long Fei. God's tribe's big battle. It could be said that the entire God's tribe was in chaos when Long Fei charged through the 10th heaven. God's tribe spent 100 years to suppress everything. New control of the universal large world. In these 100 years, Long Zhanting had not felt the aura of the sky sword even once, but this time, he felt it. Moreover, through the aura, he knew that Long Fei was still alive. Excited. Just you wait. Long Wutian. Wild Boar Valley. Long Fei also felt the change in the sky sword. Even though it was only for an instant, it was as if he had felt the power of another world, one that was incomparably familiar with it. He looked like a very familiar person. He didn't know who it was. However, he felt incomparable pain. He didn't think too much about it. Right now, the only thing Long Fei wanted to do was to kill the boss. The longsword moved. He took a heavy step with his right foot and flew into the air. Sky, outer, flying, celestial. The sword stabbed down. As the sword intent churned, the entire valley shook violently. From the sky, a sword pierced through the air. Poochie. The sound of something tearing through the air rang out. Bulldrome was pierced by the sword and his entire body was nailed to the ground. A scarlet number 1,000,000 floated above his head. 1,000,000 damage. Instant kill. A one-strike kill. Bulldrome didn't even have time to react. Long Fei landed and looked at the gigantic Bulldrome, his heart surging. This is my first boss, why don't you at least feel better? And then, Long Fei held onto the sky sword tightly, feeling that there was something different about this sky sword. Come, explode for me. The system sounded out. Ding. Chapter 22-26, Holy Artifact, Overlord Tripod. Chapter 22-26, Holy Artifact, Overlord Tripod. This is the first boss. Get me some good items. Boom, Bulldrome's body collapsed and the sound of system beep could be heard. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Bulldrome for obtaining 1000 EXP, 100 True Chi points, and 1 Mad God value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Bulldrome's physique. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Bulldrome's blood essence. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Bulldrome's leather armor. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Overlord Tripod. The things that were dropped were all from the Bulldrome, but the last Overlord Tripod caused Long Fei's chrysanthemum to tighten. What is this? Immediately. He immediately opened the system to check. Item, Overlord Tripod rank, Holy Artifact description, possessing the Overlord power, 1 ding down, reduced to ashes. Description 2, Overlord Tripod S can also have alchemy, refine artifacts, and refine talismans. God Holy Artifact. Long Fei stared at the two words holy artifact with abnormal excitement, and then looked at the description of the Overlord tripod. Not only is it respectful, it's also able to refine alchemy. 2 words, awesome. Just as Long Fei was about to kill the bulldrome, the sky sword released a ray of luck aura. The reason why holy artifact could be exposed was also because of the sky sword. Long Fei had not been able to see its attribute, and had been hiding it all along. It was a rusty sword, so there was no difference, but in Long Fei's heart, the sky sword was extraordinary. Keeping the sky sword, Long Fei moved. Immediately, a huge wave of overlord power poured into his body, and with a flick of his right hand, boom, a giant cauldron appeared on Long Fei's right hand, causing his body to sink in and struggle a bit. This is F*King over 10,000 kilograms. The sleeve on Long Fei's right arm cracked. The dragon-shaped mark tattoo on his right arm also appeared. At this moment, the power on the Overlord tripod became even more ferocious, as though it had suddenly become stronger. Long Fei grabbed the Overlord tripod and smashed its foot onto the ground. Rumble. Rumble. The ground was cracked open, and the red-eyed boar was smashed to smithereens. It really was an existence that had been reduced to ashes after being struck down by the cauldron. Awesome. The holy artifact is in your mouth. Long Fei's face was full of excitement, not only because the Overlord tripod was a holy artifact, but also because the Overlord tripod was incomparably eye-catching. If it were to be gathered above one's head, not to mention a human, even the gods would be frightened to the point of going limp. Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed out loud. In another place, Xianyu sect's law enforcement hall. Master Guan, I beg of you. Gui Qingshan asked in a begging tone. Guanzhen shook his head. Elder Gui, it's not that I don't want to help you, it's just that this is a matter that can't be helped. Only that brat has already offended the Pill Pavilion, so even if he were to enter the Xianyu sect, he wouldn't end up well. Tell me about your daughter. What is there to be afraid of with your daughter's cultivation? The disciples of the entire Xianyu sect are all brought here for the examination. As an elder of the Xianyu sect, you should set your own example, right? Guanzhen said indifferently. He was the law enforcement elder. He was the head examiner for this selection of new disciples. If he could make sense of the situation, Long Fei would not participate in the selection anymore. In fact, this sort of thing happened quite often. Many of the elders' relatives did not pass the examination and directly came in, but when it came to Gui Qingshan, what they meant was to set an example by oneself. Moreover, as the main examiner, Guanzhen had the right to let some special disciples pass without needing to take any examinations. Everyone knew about this. Guanzhen's words showed that he did not want to help Gui Qingshan. Even when Gui Qingshan was begging him, he did not give him any face. In the past few days, Gui Qingshan had always been trying to find connections for Long Fei, but his relationship with the Xianyu sect was extremely poor and not many people took him seriously. If not for the relationship with the sect master, the 7th prince would probably have been chased out of Xianyu sect. Gui Qingshan asked, hasn't been allowed to participate in the selection examination in the past years, why are you doing this year? This was what he was puzzled about. This was also what he was worried about. Guanzhen explained, Xiao Dai is already 16, and is the final selection age. The reason why I didn't notify you in the past was because I wanted you to bring her for the selection, but you didn't do that. Elder Gui, it's just a selection assessment, I believe in Xiao Dai. Guanzhen said while laughing. Gui Qingshan said, and if she is not selected? Guanzhen said slightly, if there really is no selection. Then, Elder Gui, I can't decide this alone. Out of the corner of his eye, he couldn't help but look at the other end of the hall. Gui Qingshan said, I understand. Finished. Gui Qingshan also looked at the other side of the hall, and slowly walked out of the law enforcement agency. Gui Qingshan walked far away. A person walked out of the darkness, Yi Changfeng. Guanzhen also quickly went up to welcome him and smiled faintly. Great Elder, you were right, Gui Qingshan really came to find me. Yi Changfeng looked at Gui Qingshan's disappearing relieved smile, and said, after offending 7th prince, if his days are better, then my days will not be better. While they were talking, Yi Changfeng took out a small bottle from his bosom and said, "There are 3 blood spirit pills inside." Guanzhen's eyes shone with a gold light, he could not hide his joy, and said, "Thank you, great clan elder." Yi Changfeng laughed, "If you want to fight with me, I'll use just you, Gui Qingshan. Are you worthy?" The next morning, the martial arts arena was bustling with noise and excitement. Tens of thousands of youths rushed over from every direction. These youths all carried their dreams of becoming powerful cultivators in their hearts. As long as they could enter the Xianyu sect and become cultivators through hard work, they would be able to change their fates. The scene was exactly the same as the college entrance exam in his previous life. It was just that. The fighter exam was even stricter than the college entrance exam, and it was also harder than the college entrance exam. If you fail in the college entrance examination, you might be able to do something else, but if you fail in the martial arts exam, you might end up as one of the lowest level ants in this world forever, unable to turn your body around for the rest of your life. This was an era where the powerhouse was respected. Everything depended on strength. Yawning. Long Fei yawned. He came back late last night, so he didn't have enough sleep and was in a bad mental state. Xiao Dai asked, "Where did you go last night?" Long Fei scratched his head and said, "Nothing." Xiao Dai did not notice any change in Long Fei's cultivation. Xiao Dai said worriedly, "I also don't know if father found out yet, but right now you are just a escalate body 2 stage, I'm afraid." "I'm afraid." Long Fei laughed and said, "Don't worry." Xiao Dai said, "How can I not be worried? I am the one who has brought you to Xianyu sect, I am responsible for you." Chapter 22-27, Zhu Family Warrior. Chapter 22-27, Zhu Family Warrior. I will be responsible for you. Long Fei was a little touched. However, he had not revealed his current cultivation. After all, he was a professional player and leveling expert. The effort he had put in that night had turned everything upside down. Long Fei thought, "I'll give you a pleasant surprise later." At this time, a man dressed in luxurious clothing beside him had a pompous smile on his face. "Beautiful girl, what are you going to do to him?" "It would be better to be responsible for me. He's just a trash of the escalate body 2 stage, and he hasn't even reached the standards for the examination." "Exactly. Look at our young master. He's a 4th grade refining body genius. If you follow our young master, you won't lose out." The surrounding crowd burst into laughter. Escalate body 2 stage still wants to test. Let's go home and wash up. Brainless, the exam criteria have been announced. The lowest threshold is body refining 3rd level. I think it's someone with a screw loose. Indeed, every single person dares to participate in the selection. Why don't you take a piss for yourself instead? Trash must have the awareness to become trash. Everyone mocked and discussed. Long Fei was not angry, but Xiao Dai was. "What are you laughing at? Talking about other people's trash, what kind of geniuses are you?" "Humph. Along, let's ignore him. What happened to the escalate body 2 stage? Even the true martial emperor was able to break through from the refinement realm step by step." Xiao Dai said fiercely. He didn't know why. If this had happened in the past, Long Fei would definitely have exploded with rage. After which, he would violently beat up those people who had mocked him. If you don't like it, then do it. However, his expression did not change. He held back an emotion. Endure it. Wrong. Long Fei did not have the word endure in his dictionary. He had remembered all of them down and then started to calculate slowly during the rest of the exams. Suddenly, the crowd was in an uproar. The Zhu family has arrived. The people from the Zhu clan of the Southern County Estate have arrived. Wow, how handsome. The Zhu family of the Southern Prefecture. This is the largest family in our Southern County. Have you heard of it? The young master of the Zhu family, Zhu Tian, disappeared from the Xianyu sect. I heard about this. Who dares to oppose the Zhu family? Zhu Yaozong is the great marshal of war. He controls an army of 1 million people. Aren't those who touch the Zhu family looking to die? In order to investigate the truth, the Zhu family sent people to stay in the Xianyu sect. I heard that they are going to set up a branch in the Xianyu sect. Damn, then isn't this looking down on the Xianyu sect too much? No matter what, Xianyu sect is still a Guo tribe. Although the decree hasn't come down yet, in less than a month, the decree and the imperial concubine will arrive, right? Is the Zhu family overdoing it? Discussions broke out. Long Fei looked carefully. The few clan elders of the Zhu clan were not ordinary. The dozen or so young disciples gave Long Fei the feeling that special guard. He was no ordinary disciple. They were warrior who had been on the battlefield before, and carried a murderous aura with him. They were completely different from ordinary disciples. The way they walked and the way they looked at each other was completely different. Zhu Xiong walked in front of Guanzhen and said, "These are our Zhu family's participating disciples." Guanzhen smiled and said, all right. All of the Zhu family's disciples are elites. You don't need to test your cultivation to directly enter the assessment later. Zhu Xiong slightly said, "That won't do. No matter what assessment standard your Xianyu sect has, we will do it according to it, so as to avoid people saying that our Zhu family is going too far." And then Zhu Xiong turned around and looked at the disciples behind him and said, "Did you hear that clearly? They all have to follow the standards set by the Xianyu sect." "Yes, sir." Everyone shouted in unison. The voice was deep. Guanzhen laughed bitterly. Others would not be able to tell, but he was still unable to tell, that these so-called Zhu clan disciples were actually warriors in the army. They came to participate in the examination. Wasn't this just crushing them all the way? Who could contend against them? He didn't understand. Forget about General Zhu Yaozong. Even if it was the Zhu family in the southern palace, they would have more resources for cultivation than his Xianyu sect, so why would they come to the Xianyu sect? To find out the reason for Zhu Tian's disappearance. But there was no need for that. To be stationed in the Xianyu sect, this was indeed a little too arrogant. Adding on the fact that the Xianyu sect was now the Guo tribe, the Zhu family measured the number of points, changed their strategy, allowed a dozen or so elites to participate in the Xianyu sect's assessment, and become the Xianyu sect's disciples. However, he then applied for a division. Even so, the Zhu family still chose to enter the Xianyu sect. Xiao Dai's expression changed slightly, and she asked in a low voice, "Along, we weren't exposed, right?" Long Fei shook his head and said, "Don't worry. It would take a long time to find Zhu Tian's corpse. Also, these Zhu family members gave Long Fei the feeling that they were not here for Zhu Tian, but for some other purpose." Long Fei said, "You must be careful of these people during the assessment. If you can run, run. They were all dangerous people." Xiao Dai smirked. "What are you afraid of? The Zhu family doesn't have any good people." There was a strange light in her eyes. Very special. It was as if there was some kind of hatred within this light. Long Fei did not notice. Long Fei thought that it was because of the previous cycle. Long Fei said, "It doesn't matter if you're a good person or a bad person, you have to be careful." At this time, at the main entrance of martial arts arena, a group of people dressed in gold armor holding onto long spears rushed into the training grounds, forcefully opening up a path. Seventh Prince Zhao Yitian swaggered in. Beside him was a middle-aged man. He was not the expert who was ranked 7th in the elixir last time. When Guanzhen saw the 7th Prince, he immediately went forward to welcome him. 7th Prince walked up with large strides, and without even bothering with Guanzhen, he directly walked to the top. His gaze swept across the entire audience, and revealed a cold and disdainful smile. He did not put anyone here in his eyes at all. Below the stage, the 8,000 participating disciples did not dare to make a sound. Who was the person on the stage? 7th Prince. The Empress's most beloved little son, and he was a super hedonist at that. More importantly, the person following behind him was a peerless expert, the super powerhouse ranked 3rd on the elixir ranking, Miao Chong, cold as ice. However, his gaze was as if it could kill, causing people to not dare to look him in the eye. Suddenly, Zhao Yitian's gaze locked onto Xiao Dai, who was within the crowd. The corner of his mouth curled into a sinister sneer, and he said, "I really miss you to death. Let's see where you can run to this time." Heh. Zhao Yitian laughed obscenely. And then, Zhao Yiqian shot a glance at Guanzhen and said, I'm here to participate in the selection, can we begin the examination now? Everyone below the stage was shocked. Seventh Prince was participating in the selection? Did he even need to participate in the selection? Who would dare to compete with him? If they were to say that they didn't dare to fight with the Zhu family just now, then now. They were even more afraid to fight with the Seventh Prince, as he was someone who would kill without batting an eye. Moreover, no matter where this fellow goes, even if he were to enter the examination grounds, he would bring along a super powerhouse with him. Who would dare to compete with him? Chapter 22-28 Level Test. Chapter 22-28 Level Test. The reason he came to the Seventh Prince this time was to get back at him. Moreover, he had to get even with the prophet. Zhao Yiqian stared at Xiao Dai coldly, his face filled with a cold sneer. Xiao Dai's body trembled slightly. Long Fei supported him and whispered, Don't worry, I am here. Xiao Dai laughed bitterly and said, Along, since you are a Escalate Body 2 stage, don't participate in the selection. When Xiao Dai thought about what happened last time, he felt a sense of lingering fear. If not for the water buffalo going crazy, she would probably have. Seventh Prince participating in the test this time was obviously because of her. Furthermore, this time, the buffalo would not accompany her. Besides, the Seventh Prince had also replaced an even more powerful expert with him. Once they entered the testing grounds, then Xiao Dai's eyes were completely filled with undisguised hatred this time. It was not the ordinary kind of hatred, but the very, very, very deep kind. It was as if there was an irreconcilable hatred between him and Zhao Yiqian. Interesting. Long Fei was very clear about what happened that day on the mountain path. Long Fei thought, if you want to participate in the selection, then select well. If you are here to cause trouble, then don't blame me for being rude. Last time I scared you to the point of peeing, and this time it's the same. Long Fei was not a person who feared trouble. The Seventh Prince said somewhat impatiently, Let's start quickly. I can't even wait. Guanzhen immediately said, All right, we'll begin right away. Now, I will announce the start of the Xian Yu sect selection test. Please line up and test your cultivation. Anyone who has not reached the 3rd grade of refining body will not have the qualifications to enter the selection. As soon as he finished, the surrounding Xian Yu sect disciples started to get busy. Brat, did you hear that? Those who haven't reached the 3rd grade of body refinement aren't qualified to participate in the selection. I say, why are you still so lazy? Don't waste our time. Exactly. Trash like you waste time every year. Get out of the team. Long Fei turned around to look at them, and said, I won't leave, what are you going to do about it? Unhappy? Come up and bite me. F***CK. Everyone was enraged as they stared at Long Fei. No one dared to make a move, because once they did, they would lose the qualification to take the exam. Xiao Dai lowered his head in thought, looking like he was extremely worried about something. The team slowly moved forward. In another place. Everyone is here. The people of the Zhu family, the Seventh Prince is here. An elder walked up to the 3 elders and reported. Yi Changfeng frowned. The great clan elder of the treasure refining pavilion, Yu Wanshan said, What is the Zhu family trying to do? The cultivation resources in the Xian Yu sect are not as much as the Zhu family. What are they doing in the Xian Yu sect? Great elder of Kung Fu storage pavilion, Wu Yi, replied, under the guise of investigating the disappearance of the disciples, I think they have other motives. Yi Changfeng slightly said, I have investigated, the young master of the Zhu family has truly disappeared, and not just any news. Wu Yi said, then the Zhu family has another goal, why do we have to look for them in the Xian Yu sect when they are missing? Exactly. Yu Wanshan asked, what is the Zhao family up to now? Isn't it too quiet in Xian Yu sect to send such a hedonistic prince? Yi Changfeng said sternly, don't spout nonsense, the current Zhao family is not the same as the previous Zhao family. Yu Wanshan sneered and said, yes, the current Zhao family is of the imperial family, so we cannot speak carelessly. But what about the Zhao family back then? A family of eunuchs that started out as a eunuch. As soon as he finished, Yi Changfeng glared at him. Yu Wanshan also realized that his words just now were a little too excessive. If these words were heard by the imperial family, the entire Xianyu sect was about to disappear from this world. Yu Wanshan said in a low voice, "What I said was the truth. The world of the Zhao family was stolen. This was something that everyone in the world knew. It was just that in that era, the Wei family was rotten to the core and the Wei dynasty was imbecile and useless. No powerhouse appeared. The Wei clan's dragon fountain had been severed. The Zhao family took advantage of this situation. It was rumored that the Wei clan's dragon vein was cut off by the Zhao clan's ancestor, Zhao Chongshan, become the overlord of the Zhenwu continent. These were not secrets. But no one dared to say. The Zhao family's methods were very cruel. Moreover, he controlled over 10,000 cultivators and also controlled countless cultivation resources. All the cultivators in the world had to depend on the Zhao family. Only then did the Zhao family's world become so stable. However, Crown Prince Zhao suddenly wanted to marry Luo Niang, the daughter of Xianyu sect's master Luo Xian. Furthermore, he brought her to the imperial city with lightning speed. The Xianyu sect was immediately conferred the title of Guo tribe. This series of events confused many people. Even the people from the Xianyu sect did not understand. Xianyu sect was merely a small sect. How could it attract the attention of the Zhao family? Interesting. Now, it even allowed 7th Prince Zhao Etian to participate in the Xianyu sect's assessment, which made people even more puzzled. Yi Changfeng exhaled slightly, and said, "No matter what, Xianyu sect is not a match for the Zhao family, so we can only submit. Send my order down, secretly send 2 more elders to protect the 7th prince's safety." Right. Yi Changfeng asked, "What is the cultivation level of this 7th prince?" The 2 elders shook their heads, indicating that they didn't know. Liu Bin, 3rd grade refining body, passed. This is your identity card. Lin Kai, 3rd grade refining body, qualified. Next. Most of them were body refining 3rd grade. For those without any cultivation resources, to be able to reach 3rd grade refining body before the age of 15 or 16 was already a pretty good existence. Training. There couldn't be a less wealthy couple. Especially the first word, wealth. Cultivating meant burning money, and it was also burning tons of money. Without the support of a certain amount of money, food, and clothing, there were worries everywhere. How could he train in peace? To buy spirit grass, spirit pills, magic weapon all required a strong financial support. Money was very important. 7th Prince, 8th level of the body refinement realm. As soon as he finished, the entire audience was stunned. 8th grade refining body? So high. Who's his opponent? The Zhao family has Emperor's Qi in their body. Every single person in the Zhao family is a genius, and a body refining 8th level is really powerful. Yeah, this year's first place belongs to him. 7th Prince laughed complacently. He was proud like a peacock with its tail between its legs, and his eyes were full of pride. Zhu Mo, 5th grade refining body. Zhu Yang, 5th grade refining body. Zhu Hai, 5th grade refining body. The Zhu family's disciples were all at the 5th grade refining body. Moreover, they all had indifferent expressions without a single trace of emotion on their faces. Everyone was shocked once again. The 7th prince also looked at the many disciples of the Zhu family. The corners of his mouth curled up and he also had a look of disdain. Next, didn't you hear? Long Fei gently touched Xiao Dai and Xiao Dai finally reacted, walking forward after hesitating for half a second. Xiao Dai, body refining 5th level, qualified. Long Fei was startled, and said, "Xiao Dai, you broke through?" Xiao Dai laughed and nodded. The disciple said to Long Fei, "Next, hurry up, don't waste our time. He doesn't need to test, escalate body 2 stage. Ha ha ha. Long Fei slowly walked forward, pressing his strength into his palm. A burst of light exploded out from the black stone. "Thank you for your support." Chapter 22-29, Sister will cover you. Chapter 22-29, Sister will cover you. The glow on the black stone climbed higher and higher until it was at 6. The disciple in charge of the test was slightly startled. He looked at Long Fei seriously and muttered, "Is the test for the black stone broken? Senior brother, what's the situation? Why is it a 6th grade refining body?" I clearly remember that he was a 1st grade refining body martial artist. They had been to the barren hillside where Long Fei was. He was very clear about Long Fei's cultivation. It had only been a few days. It was impossible to go from a 1st grade refining body to a 6th grade refining body. Even a super genius wouldn't be able to do it. Long Fei asked, "Is your cultivation level high enough?" One of the disciples looked at Long Fei and said, "I didn't test well just now, go test again." "Fuck, it's that troublesome?" Long Fei complained. Although he was unwilling, he still placed his hand on top. Buzz. The light on the black stone continued to rise. One section after another. It stopped at position 6. The two disciples looked at each other and asked, "Brat, are you cheating? A few days ago you were clearly a 1st grade refining body, but now you're a 6th grade refining body? You dare to say that you're not cheating?" It was impossible. The path of cultivation lay in breaking through bit by bit. Who could be so abnormal? Long Fei said, "A few days ago, I was a 1st rank in refinement, but now, I cannot be a 6th rank in refinement." The disciple said, "It's not like you're some genius." Long Fei said, "A genius is nothing, I am a demon." Genius? Honestly, Long Fei did not place any other so-called genius in his eyes. Any other kind of genius was the same. In front of his berserk god system, even an extreme genius would have to kneel down and sing a song of conquest. Genius? Pooey. The two disciples became slightly angry and said, "You little rascal, you must be cheating." Long Fei became angry as well, and said, "Since you claim that I'm cheating, then please take out the evidence. If you cannot take out the evidence, then don't *T around here. Kid, who did you say was farting?" The disciple standing up glared at Long Fei. Long Fei was not afraid in the slightest. He stared straight back and said in a daze, "I'm talking about you, what's wrong? What's going on? Why are they arguing? It must be because that kid hasn't met the requirements to take the test. Trash is trash. You actually have the nerve to come to participate in the assessment." He's not ashamed of himself either. The crowd began to discuss this. Xiao Dai received the identity token and looked at Long Fei and the test disciple who were arguing as he anxiously ran up. Without caring about anything else, he directly stood in front of Long Fei and stared at the two disciples as he shouted, "What do you guys want to do?" The disciple immediately said, "He cheated." Long Fei said, "Bullshit." The disciple angrily said, "Kid, who did you say?" Long Fei said, "I'm talking about you, how can I?" "How? You don't have the qualifications to take the examination." The disciple taking the test immediately bellowed with arrogance. He wielded the power to kill and looked at Long Fei with contempt, and said, "What can you do now?" Long Fei sneered, "You don't have that right." Xiao Dai still had not figured out the reason for the matter. However, when she saw the 6 sections of light on the black stone, it meant that it was a 6th grade refining body. Long Fei's cultivation was at the 6th grade refining body. Xiao Dai looked at Long Fei, his heart trembling. He at the same time shouted, "Long is right. You do not have the rights. Call your law enforcement hall's elders over." All of a sudden, it was very noisy. Quite a few people were looking in their direction. 7th Prince Zhao Etian also looked over. Seeing Xiao Dai protecting Long Fei, he sneered and said, "Who is that kid?" "Your Highness, that person was an orphan that Gui Qingshan picked up from the outside. It seems that he was also here to participate in the examination. Gui Qingshan retrieved it." The 7th Prince disdainfully said, "Let him participate in the assessment." Guanzhen was startled. 7th Prince's eyes slightly widened. Guanzhen immediately replied, "Yes." And then, quickly running up, the two disciples saw the head elder of the law enforcement hall and immediately complained, "Head elder, he cheated." Guanzhen looked at the result on the black stone and his heart trembled. He thought to himself, 6th grade refining body? He earnestly sized up Long Fei. He had a silly look on his face. He broke through so fast in just a few days. Guanzhen himself didn't believe it either, but he was too lazy to care about that. He shouted out, "He meets the conditions for the assessment and allows him to participate." The two test disciples were stunned, but before they could say anything, they were stared back at by Guanzhen. Long Fei laughed. "Did you see that? I say you have no rights." The two disciples were in a bad mood. They linked Long Fei's name together, a long, pass, next. Xiao Dai giggled, and said, "To think that my father's relationship would be so close, eh?" Guanzhen personally went in. Xiao Dai believed that it was because of Gui Qingshan's secret communication skill. He looked at Guanzhen and said, "Thank you, Uncle Guan." After that, she dragged Long Fei to get her identity card. He looked very happy. Long Fei smiled, but did not explain anything. As long as Xiao Dai was happy, it was fine. As for whether or not Gui Qingshan made things clear, it was no longer important. "Along, don't worry, I will protect you. I'm already a 5th grade refining body now, so you definitely won't be a problem." Hee hee. I didn't expect that my father would be so powerful. He actually had the head elder of the law enforcement hall personally come out to let you pass. As long as you can participate in the assessment, you don't have to worry. Big Sis is here to take care of everything. Xiao Dai patted Long Fei's shoulders, looking like a big sister. She started to worry that Long Fei would not be able to pass the selection conditions, but who would have thought that Guanzhen would immediately pass? Then the next assessment would not be a problem. Long Fei received the identity token and laughed foolishly. "Sis, then you have to protect me." "Don't worry," Xiao Dai said proudly. Guanzhen walked back to the 7th prince's side and said, "It's done." However, the cultivation level shown on the Blackstone is 6th grade refining body. Without waiting for Guanzhen to finish speaking, Zhao Yiqian said disdainfully, "Is 6th grade refining body very strong? In front of me, who is at the 8th grade refining body, you are just trash." Humph. Zhao Yiqian looked at Xiao Dai in the distance and was as joyous as a little butterfly as he sneered sinisterly, "I will slowly play, and play you to death." Guanzhen did not speak further. Indeed, 7th Prince's body refining 8th level was the strongest existence amongst this year's exam candidates. In addition, he had the chi of the Emperor of Zhao on him. His strength was comparable to the escalated blood stage, and the 6th grade refining body was indeed not much. Not long later, the cultivation test ended. More than 7,000 disciples had met the requirements. Guanzhen said, "Your Highness, the assessment is coming up soon. Is there anything else?" Zhao Yiqian thought for a moment, then said to Miao Chong who was beside him, "Uncle Miao, you don't need to worry about the assessment." Miao Chong did not speak any further, and coldly replied, "Yes." Then, his figure flashed and disappeared. Chapter 2230 Hunting Assessment. Chapter 2230 Hunting Assessment. Now, I announce the start of the examination. According to the classification you choose, the assessment will be carried out. Guanzhen walked up and her voice dropped, covering the entire training grounds. More than 7,000 disciples were divided into several categories. Alchemy Assessment. The Artifact Forging Exam. The Test of Inscriptions. Then there was the Martial Hall Assessment. Xianyu sect was a middle-tier sect and there were not many branch halls. In other words, alchemy, artifact forging, and array forging were the 4 parts of the Martial Hall. Gui Qingshan had applied to the Beast Control Hall in the past. However, after so many years, he still hadn't recruited a single disciple. Alchemy refining required a strong innate ability to support it. Cultivating beast taming was even more necessary. Usually, only large sects would have such a place like this. Some of Xianyu sect's mounts were bought from the outside. Although these supporting jobs required a strong inherent skill, once they succeeded they would receive more resources than the disciples of the Martial Hall. It would be better to be like the disciple of Powder Pavilion. Their cultivation were the same, but they were superior. Because they were people of the disciple of Powder Pavilion, people who were highly likely to become alchemy masters. More than half of the 7,000 disciples chose alchemy, artifact forging, or formation, while the other half chose to enter the martial hall to take the examination. The martial hall was the martial arts training. Most of them were disciples of the martial hall. "Sis, what are we going to participate in?" Long Fei asked, but he didn't care about it. Whether it was artifact forging, alchemy, or formation. Anyway, not even he. Last time when he refined the detoxification panacea, he had a flash of inspiration. There was no alchemy technique in his cultivation technique column. Xiao Dai said, "Martial Hall assessment. When we enter the Martial Hall and earn enough points, we will apply for a division. I want to start Father's Beast Control Hall anew. This is my father's long-cherished wish." Xiao Dai's eyes were filled with passion. "Oh." Long Fei replied and muttered, "Can I control beasts?" The disciples separated. The Zhu family members also entered the martial hall. Zhao Yitian watched as Xiao Dai entered the martial hall to take the examination. He also chose the martial hall. An elder of the martial hall walked up and said, "Cultivation is about strength, the strength of the body. To you Muggle people of the refinement realm, the easiest and most effective test is to kill demon beasts. Within a day, whoever kills more demon beast will get the qualification to enter the martial hall. Remember, our martial hall doesn't want trash. We will only take the top 1,000. Hunting grounds, Shenbei Mountain. Go." After a few simple sentences, several disciples of the martial hall came out and said, "Follow me." Xiao Dai said, in a while, we will find a few more people to work with. Hunting demon beasts is not a joke, you must definitely be by my side. Do you remember? You're the one with the escalate body 2-stage cultivation. You can't take a single attack from the demon beast." Xiao Dai warned once again. Long Fei nodded his head and said, "I will remember, sis, I will follow you closely." Could not withstand the first attack from the demon beast. Last night, Long Fei washed the Wild Boar Valley in blood. Even the Bulldrome was defeated by him. At that time, his cultivation was only at the 3rd grade of refining body. Now, he was at the 6th grade of refining body. However, Long Fei was secretly delighted in his heart. "I like killing demon beast. Looks like I'll be able to upgrade another wave, ha ha ha. Your Highness, I have already prepared him for you." Zhao Yitian nodded his head. "All right, then let them prepare to go. There is no need for too much of it, just kill 1,000 demon beast." "Yes, sir." The disciple hugged his hands, then lowered his voice and said, "Your Highness, in addition, we specially prepared a 4-rating monster and beasts." Zhao Yitian grinned, glanced at him, and said in satisfaction, "Not bad, you have a bright future." The 4-rating monster and beast. This was no ordinary demon beast, even a peak realm warrior would not be a match. Moreover, there were no 4-rating monster and beasts in the Shenbei Mountain. Just this 4-rating monster and beasts alone was more than enough to take first place. Selection assessment. Zhao Yitian only wanted to say one word, hey. His goal was simple, Xiao Dai. As for the assessment, he didn't need to do it himself. Everything was prepared for him. For people with status like his, forget about Shen Yu Sect S, even the largest sect of Infinitas S in Zhaogua's territory, as long as he said a word, he could immediately become an inner sect disciple. What did the Shen Yu sect count for? Zhao Yitian said, "Also, send someone to keep an eye on that little beauty. I want to start a meat fight today, ha ha ha." "Yes, sir." In another place. The elite warrior S of the Zhu family. Shenbei Mountain is also a part of the Shen Yu sect. Don't let go of any place, search carefully for me. "Yes, sir." "Big brother, it's just that. What exactly are we looking for?" Everyone looked at Zhu Fang. Indeed. They had no idea what they were looking for. The reason they had come to the Shen Yu sect was to receive General Zhu Yaozong's direct order. Zhu Fang frowned, he shook his head and said, "The higher-ups did not specify, they just wanted us to carefully search the Shen Yu sect and not let any suspicious areas slip by, also telling us to enter the Shen Yu sect to earn 10,000 sect points, and to apply for the establishment of a branch hall. This is the general's direct order. It must be done." All of the Zhu family disciples answered in unison, "Yes." Beneath the Shenbei Mountain. "Please form a team." Level 1 Monster S are comparable to 5th grade refining body realm cultivators. We will all form a group and split the amount of demon beast killed evenly. Everyone will enter the Xian Yu sect together. We need one more here. This is the body refining 4th grade elite team. Come quickly. Add me. Bro, your cultivation isn't good enough. Why don't you find another team? Long Fei looked at it. The entire scene looked like he was playing a game. This kind of scene made him feel a sense of familiarity. I miss it so much. Game. Life. I didn't even dare to think about it in the past, but now I'm in the game. This feeling feels so good. Long Fei sighed in his heart. At this moment, Xiao Dai brought back 5 people, and said, our team is up, ready to go. Big guy. The skinny monkey won. And a couple. These 4 were all 3rd grade refining body martial artists. The other young man was dressed extravagantly and had a magic weapon treasure sword hanging from his waist. Looking at Long Fei's eyes, he revealed a look of despise. And him? Xiao Dai said, yes, the 7 of us will form a group. The youth revealed a displeased expression and said, you didn't clearly explain his cultivation just now. Everyone knows that he only has the qualifications to participate in the assessment after passing the back door. I'm afraid his cultivation is at most at Escalate Body 2 Stage S, right? Xiao Dai said, he is Escalate Body 2 Stage. I am a 5th grade refining body martial artist. If I bring him along, all demon beast are equal. The youth smiled and said, you can take him with you, but my cultivation is at the 4th grade refining body realm. I can't take the same amount of points. This kind of team is facing a burden. They will absolutely not pass the exam. Xiao Dai said, then what do you want to do? The youth said, it's very simple. Either he cannot have a single demon beast, or I will calculate by myself or I will withdraw. Long Fei was dissatisfied. Hurry up and F***CK off, we're leaving. Chapter 2231, Captain Shatong. Chapter 2231, Captain Shatong. No matter if it was his previous life playing games or now, the thing Long Fei hated the most was team tyrants. You look like your father's level is the highest, and your father is the highest. Long Fei was extremely disdainful. Just like this, he could fight against 10 people, and only with one hand. The youth looked at Long Fei with a sneer. He didn't bother to care about him and turned to leave. Xiao Dai immediately said, wait. The corners of the youth's mouth curled into a complacent smile. Xiao Dai looked at the other 4. The 4 of them did not speak. They were body refining 3rd level. Simply put, they didn't have the right to speak. Xiao Dai said, all right, I'll let you calculate according to 2 people. She needed the strength of a youth. A cultivation at the 4th grade refining body could allow them to respond well to the attacks of demon beast. Long Fei's cultivation was at the 2nd stage, and the other 4 people were at the 3rd stage. If she brought them all along, they would not be able to pass the examination. Then again, Long Fei did not know that for these people, Xiao Dai had requested for a lot of people, but none of them were willing to join her team. The reason was also because of Long Fei. How high could a person who couldn't even meet the basic examination requirements rely on the back door to enter? It was obviously very weak. How could such a burden be able to pass the examination? There was no other way. Xiao Dai could only compromise. The young man said proudly, that's more like it, but he talked back to me just now, so I'm going to add another one. Xiao Dai raised his eyes, his expression somewhat unhappy, and asked, what else? The youth said, I want to be the captain. I want everything to be under my command. Xiao Dai exhaled, looked at Long Fei, and said, all right. Ha ha ha. The youth laughed complacently and said, let's hear it from the captain. He was overjoyed. Long Fei was very unhappy. Xiao Dai held back and said lightly, Captain. The youth said, the volume is too low, and why didn't you scream? Do you still want to pass the examination and become a disciple of the Xian Yu sect? Xiao Dai shouted, Captain. The other 4 also shouted loudly, Captain. The youth laughed. Ha ha ha. My name is Shatong. In the future you will call me Captain Shi. Shatong coldly glanced at Long Fei, and said, Brat, did you hear me clearly? Shatong. Long Fei almost burst out laughing. Why aren't you called Ma Tong? Shatong stared at him and bellowed, what did you say? Long Fei said, bullshit, Captain, I didn't say anything. Shatong disdainfully said, listen to my orders and enter the Xianbei Mountain. The 7 of them entered the Xianbei Mountain's hunting grounds. The hunting grounds of the Xianbei Mountain were around 100 kilometers, and were the only path to the Xianbei Mountain veins, which was connected to the Xianbei Mountain veins, with a large amount of demon beasts active all year round. Most of them were level 1 or level 2 demon beast. The 3-rate monster and beastess were basically nowhere to be seen, let alone the 4th level or 5-level monster s. However, there was no absolute. After all, the link here was for the Xianbei Mountain Meridian. In Jiaoguo, the Xianbei Mountain veins was also one of the 3 great dangerous mountain ranges, and demon beast ran rampant. Many of the examinees stepped into the Xianbei Mountain one after another. Grand Elder, the 7th Prince and the others have entered. Yi Changfeng nodded his head, and said, I understand, where are the people I sent to protect? They are 2 elders. Their cultivation are at the 8th grade of the blood refinement realm. They should be able to ensure his safety. Yi Changfeng nodded his head again, and said, all right, I got it, you can go now. Yes sir. Yu Wanshan was a little displeased, and said, Senior Brother Yin, why did you send someone to protect him? And Wu Yi frowned and said faintly, give old man Gui's precious daughter to him. I'm afraid that if his hair gets on fire. After all, his relationship with Sect Master is not ordinary. Yi Changfeng laughed faintly, I haven't arranged anything. Even if I arranged it, what can Gui Qingshan do? So what if he has a good relationship with the Grand Master? Even though this is the Shen Yu sect, but this is Jiaoguo's territory, and also. Yi Changfeng looked in the direction of the desolate hillside, and muttered, after today, Gui Qingshan will not be a part of the Shen Yu sect anymore. He knew the reason behind Miao Chong's departure. How could he let Gui Qingshan go so easily when a guy like the 7th Prince was so vindictive? Impossible. Last time, he was ranked 7th on the elixir ranking, but this time he was ranked 3rd, Miao Chong. No matter how powerful Gui Qingshan was, he would not be able to escape this calamity. And it was the same for Gui Qingshan's daughter. Fighting with anyone is fine, but don't fight with the heavens. Here. In Jiaoguo's territory, the Zhao dynasty was the sky. Zhenwu continent, a small plane within the universal large world. Zhao Chongshan was the ruler of 9 or 5 years. At the same time, when he became the ruler of the world, he was also an outer disciple of the god's tribe. He was patrolling the Zhenwu continent for him. Raw. A 3-meter-long fire lizard rushed forward. Everywhere they passed, the grass and trees would quickly burn and wither. Waving his long flaming tongue, he rapidly charged towards Long Fei's group. Shatong retreated back, and anxiously shouted, Xiao Dai, quickly go up, quickly stop him. Without waiting for Shatong's command, she had already rushed forward. When the other 4 saw Shatong retreating, they were also scared and quickly retreated with a pale face, leaving only Xiao Dai to fight him alone. The fire lizard was just a level 1 monster. His only attack was the flames on his body. This kind of demon beast belongs to the very low-level demon beast, and their intelligence is basically 0. But just this one demon beast caused all 5 of them to stagger backwards. Was this a team? 5 minutes later. Huff. Xiao Dai gasped heavily. His body had been burnt in a few places, but he managed to kill the fire lizard. Shatong laughed mischievously as he strode forward and said, Xiao Dai, not bad. Finished. He walked up to the lizard's corpse and chopped off its head with a sword. He placed it among his own space ring and said with a smile, let's go find the next one. Long Fei saw the burn wounds on Xiao Dai's body, felt pain in his heart, and shouted angrily, this is a team. This is dog shit. Shatong's eyes widened, he turned and stared at Long Fei, and said, brat, what the f***ck are you saying? Long Fei said, you are just a pile of dog shit. Shatong was enraged. He walked to Long Fei and shouted, if you have the guts, say it again. Xiao Dai immediately pulled Long Fei back, shook his head, and indicated for him not to be impulsive. Long Fei did not care about others. But Xiao Dai was injured, but he could not. Not to mention, one team was taking down the other team members while the rest were just watching from the sidelines. What kind of team was this? Watching a team play? Long Fei stared fiercely at Shatong, raised his finger, and pointed at Shatong's nose, enunciating word by word, "You are just a pile of dog poop." The corner of Shatong's eyes twitched, and he said angrily, "Trash, I think you're tired of living." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei's right hand turned into a palm, and without giving Shatong time to react, he fiercely slapped it down. "Thank you for your support." Chapter 2232 Lousy Can't Kill You. Chapter 2232 Lousy Can't Kill You. Yi Zichen slapped him hard. Fast hands, fast movement. Shatong's reaction was not slow either. He had originally wanted to teach Long Fei a lesson, but he did not expect Long Fei to make the first move. However, what level of cultivation was he at? 4th grade refining body. What cultivation did Long Fei have? 6th grade refining body. Even if he reacted in time and blocked the attack, the difference in levels was obvious. Pa. A resounding slap connected with his face, causing Shatong's eyes to flash with stars. He staggered back, unable to find his way to the north. It took a few wobbles before it came to a stop. The surrounding 5 people were stunned. Especially Xiao Dai. The force of Long Fei's palm strike earlier was extremely strong, even she might not be able to withstand it. The big guy was stunned, so Strong Thin Monkey rolled his eyes. He originally wanted to go and help Shatong up, but in the end, he endured it. The couple also stared at Long Fei without blinking, as if they were looking at a monster. All of them were stunned by Long Fei's palm. Shatong shook his head, waking up from his stupor. However, his ears were still buzzing, as if there was a bee crying non-stop in his ears. Very angry. Anger welled up. At this moment, Shatong took out his great sword and pointed it at Long Fei, then said fiercely, "You dare hit me? I'll kill you." He was extremely angry. Long Fei's lips curled up, and said in an extremely disdainful manner, "Kill me? With just you?" Shatong's eyes turned sinister, his feet moved like the wind, and he formed a sword to attack Long Fei. Sword skill. The footwork is also a martial skill. Xiao Dai's reaction was extremely fast. He quickly rushed in front of Long Fei, blocked Shatong, and said, "Captain, don't be angry." Xiao Dai stood in the middle. Her cultivation was above Shatong's, and she had just killed a fire lizard by herself, so Shatong was still a little afraid of her. However, since he had to take back his pride, Shatong shouted, "Get out of my way, I will definitely teach this brat a lesson today. You dared to sneak attack me just now? If it wasn't for the sneak attack, how could you have hit me?" As he said it, only then did the surrounding people react. That's right, it was that brat who sneaked an attack just now. Otherwise, how could a escalate body 2-stage person like him be able to beat the captain up? Brat, you're a bit too insidious, aren't you? Exactly. Captain, what are you planning to do? Monkey said in a fawning manner. Xiao Dai turned towards Long Fei and said, "Along, admit your mistake." Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "A sneak attack. Do you want to try again?" Shatong's eyes became angry, and said angrily, "Do you think I would be afraid of you?" Long Fei said, "Then come. Ambush." What a joke. Was a 4th grade refining body worth his sneak attack? Shatong could not even react to the slap earlier. If it was a sneak attack, he would not even have the chance to react. Xiao Dai bellowed, "Along, shut your mouth." Long Fei looked at Xiao Dai, grinned, and looked to the other side. And then, Xiao Dai said, "Captain, don't lower yourself to the same level as Along. He ambushed you just now. I wanted to make you apologize, you should forgive him." Shatong laughed coldly, and said, "I only stayed because you gave me face." Long Fei gave a similar cold laugh, and said, "You must have stayed behind because of the demon beast, right?" Shatong glared and said, "Brat, what did you say?" Xiao Dai also chided him, "Along, say less." "Captain, don't be angry," Shatong said, "I can forgive you for ambushing me, but his words just now made me extremely unhappy. I want to leave the group." Monkey saw the wind was blowing and immediately said, I will also leave the team. The girl from the couple also said, we will also leave the team. Everyone looked at the big guy who did not express his stance. He scratched his head and said, me, I'll stay behind. Anyway, there's no team for me. Long Fei glanced at him, confused and silly. Looking at the big-size man, an image flashed in his mind every now and then. He was bald, had an extremely sturdy build, and all the muscles in his body seemed to have exploded. Who is this person? Isn't it too strange? Carrying a huge coffin, do I know him? Why would there be such a scene in my mind? Long Fei said to himself. He was puzzled. There was no such person in his memories of Earth. Xiao Dai continued to speak. Don't, we are a team, our goal is to enter Xianyu sect together. At this point in time, if the team is split, it will not be beneficial to anyone. All of you should stay. Captain, stay. I promise you that Along will not cause any more trouble for you. Indeed. Now that they were already in Xianbei Mountain, if the team split up, no one would benefit. Shitong was very clear about it in his heart as well. He was also acting. Shitong sheathed his sword. I can still stay with the team, but he must leave, and the team will not raise trash. Long Fei stared coldly at Shitong, and said coldly, try saying trash again if you dare. His eyes were cold. When their four eyes met, Shitong's heart suddenly felt a chill. Shitong grinned and said, if he doesn't leave, I'll leave. You choose. After saying that, he crossed his arms across his chest with an ice-cold expression. Xiao Dai locked the space between his brows. Long Fei said, sis, the two of us are enough. Xiao Dai looked at Long Fei. In her opinion, Long Fei was too naive. This was the Xianbei Mountain, where the demon beast ran rampant. If they did not form a team, not to mention passing the assessment, even surviving would be a problem. Moreover, she had promised Long Fei that she would definitely take him to the Xianyu sect. This way, no one would have any reason to chase him away. Huff. Xiao Dai looked at Shitong and said, Captain, how about this? I'll count to half ahead, and the other half to you. Shitong's eyes flashed with a gold light. Long Fei was startled, and said, sis, why are you doing this? Shitong smiled slightly, you said it yourself. Xiao Dai said, I said it. Thin Monkey could not help but say, if we are going to cut heads, we will cut heads. The couple said, exactly. Xiao Dai said, I will reduce it, as usual, Along will be divided up like before. Shitong was secretly pleased in his heart. This was the result he wanted, and said indifferently, since you say so, then it's decided, but I also have one condition, we cannot raise people for free. Everyone on our team must listen to my orders, everyone here will be under my command. While they were talking, Shitong stared at Long Fei. A slap. How could he not take revenge? He definitely would not easily avoid Long Fei. Xiao Dai said, all right, Shitong said, since you agree, then I will begin to give out orders. Along, you go lure the demon beast, we will lay an ambush. This way, killing the demon beast will be much easier. Finished. A faint sneer hung on Shitong's face. Hit me? I can't kill you. Chapter 22:33 Wolves. Chapter 22:33 Wolves. No way. Right after he finished, Xiao Dai immediately objected. Along's cultivation is too low, it's not suitable for him to lure the demon beast. The big guy scratched his head and said, let me do it. Shitong's eyes stared, and said, are you the captain, or am I the captain? I just said, we don't raise useless people. If he wants to obtain the demon beast, he must listen to my orders. Shitong insisted, he wanted Long Fei to die. It was that simple. Escalate body 2 stage to lure the demon beast. This was no different from courting death. Long Fei said indifferently, I'll go. Shitong immediately laughed. That's right, we must obey the order. He laughed complacently. Shitong secretly thought, let's go and have lunch for the demon beast, ha ha ha. Xiao Dai pulled Long Fei, and shook his head. Long Fei smiled lightly, sis, I will be fine, don't worry. Attracting monsters? Forget about level 1 monster, even if it was a divine level boss, Long Fei was fully confident. In the game, this was an extremely common tactic. However, Long Fei knew clearly in his heart that Shitong was dealing with him. They wanted him to die. Long Fei said, "Bucket of shit, Captain, how many demon beasts should I lure?" "How many? With just you?" Thin Monkey laughed coldly in disdain. Shitong said with a serious face, "You can attract as many people as you want, the more the better. Of course we are on the same team, you should take note of your safety." He laughed in his heart, "What a fool, trying to attract a few demon beast, don't you think that you died too quickly, ha ha ha." Long Fei replied seriously, "Yes." Finished. Long Fei strode into the forest. A minute passed. 10 minutes passed. After half an hour, Long Fei still did not return. A cold smile hung on Shitong's lips. Thin Monkey said, "Seems like I won't be able to return." Xiao Dai could not sit still any longer. "I'll go find him," Shitong immediately said. "No." Xiao Dai said, "It's been so long and I still haven't returned. I'm worried that something might have happened to Along after Long Fei left." She started feeling uneasy. How could a escalate body 2-stage person lure demon beast? She was extremely regretful, so she shouldn't have let Long Fei lure the monster over. Shitong said, "I don't know where he is, but I do not allow you to find him. This is an order." Xiao Dai suddenly stood up and said, "I still want to go look for him." Shitong's eyes turned sinister, and he said coldly, "Are you thinking of rebelling?" Thin Monkey also immediately stood up and reminded him in a low voice, "Captain, her cultivation is at the 5th grade refining body." Shitong was not afraid, and said, "So what if you're a 5th grade refining body martial artist? Am I to be afraid of her? No matter how strong a 5th grade refining body is she stronger than the 7th prince, who's at the 8th grade refining body?" Xiao Dai's expression changed slightly. "You are from the 7th prince?" A smile emerged on Shitong's face. At this moment, the huge bloke suddenly shouted, "There's movement ahead." Everyone was shocked and quickly squatted down. Boom, boom, boom. His footsteps were so loud that the entire ground was shaking. Trees were constantly being broken and falling, leaving a mess in front of them. "What's going on?" Shitong frowned. The big-sized guy at the front shook his head and said, "Me doesn't know, but it seems like there are a lot of demon beast. I don't know if it was brought over by Big Brother Along or not." The Thin Monkey said with disdain, "He has been feeding the demon beast for a long time. Why would he attract the demon beast? If these demon beast were drawn here by him, I'll eat them all myself." At this moment, in the dense forest, a figure flashed out. "Long Fei." Long Fei shouted loudly, "Everyone get ready, the demon beast is here." The big-size man was startled. "Big Brother Along, you're still alive." Shitong's face darkened. They really did attract a demon beast. Thin Monkey's face turned ugly. The couple beside him joked, "Monkey, aren't you going to eat the demon beast all by yourself? Hurry up and go, we don't have to do anything." Shitong stood up and said, "What are you cooking, attracting a demon beast after such a long time?" Long Fei asked, "One?" Turning his head to look, it was indeed only a wolf-shaped demon beast that rushed out first. Long Fei grinned and said, there's still more." Just as he finished, roar, roar, roar. One demonic wolf after another rushed out of the dense forest and shot out like arrows. In less than half a minute, there were more than 20 demonic wolves in the surrounding area. Shitong's face turned pale. He stared at Long Fei and scolded, "Are you F***king crazy? Who asked you to attract so many demon beast? What was he trying to do? They were going to get wiped out." Long Fei grinned and said, "Didn't you say the more the better? So I lured them over, and I still think it's a bit too little. Why don't you guys wait a bit longer, and I'll go and lure more people over?" Shitong's eyes rolled back. He almost fainted from anger. Never would he have thought that Long Fei would attract so many demon beast. Moreover, these demon beast were all of the same species. Wolf clan. There were more than 20 of them. It could be said that they were a small pack of wolves. His battle prowess was extremely strong. How could the 7 of them be a match for such a pack of wolves? Even if there were 70 of them, they would still not be a match. Shitong immediately said, "Xiao Dai, you big brute, you all go now, quickly, quickly, quickly." While they were talking. Yet he himself kept retreating. After taking a few steps back, he turned around and ran. Long Fei's eyes moved, and he said, "Want to run?" His speed suddenly increased. He quickly chased up to Shatong and blocked his path and said, "Bullshit, where are you going? You are the captain, how can you run?" Without a second word, Shatong pulled out his sword and shouted coldly, "You dog, get lost." If he didn't run now, he wouldn't be able to run anymore. More than 20 demon wolves couldn't be dealt with at all. Long Fei gave a cold laugh, and said, "You'd better go back and fight against the demon wolves." Shatong's eyes turned sinister as he said, "You're courting death." He suddenly struck out with his sword. It was a first-rank magic weapon treasure sword strike aimed at the center of Long Fei's brows. Shatong's eyes were filled with killing intent as he coldly said, "Anyways, the 7th prince doesn't want you to live, just die." 7th prince. Zhao Yitian. Hearing that name, Long Fei's eyes turned cold. In that instant, with a slight movement of the sky sword, Long Fei's figure blurred as he charged forward. Shua. A hole appeared between Shatong's eyebrows. The gash on his head instantly revealed the bottom of his head. Ding. The system beeped a few times. It was also at this time Xiao Dai and the big-sized man ran over to Long Fei's side. Seeing Shatong's corpse on the ground, Xiao Dai was surprised, and asked, "Along, why did you kill him?" Thin Monkey's face changed. The couple had the same expression. Although they did not hear clearly what Shatong and Long Fei had to say, they saw that Long Fei had killed Shatong in one move. Thin Monkey immediately kicked Shatong's corpse and spat on it. "Ha! It's best if he dies." Long Fei's gaze swept across them and coldly said, "If anyone dares to speak of it to others, hey." His eyes were filled with killing intent and his aura was cold and sinister. Other than Xiao Dai, everyone else could not help but shiver. Big Guy said, "Brother Along, what do we do? The wolves have surrounded us." Chapter 234 Sis, step back, I'll do it. Chapter 234 Sis, step back, I'll do it. Long Fei was not afraid of anything. However, he did not want to bring unnecessary trouble to Xiao Dai. That was why he had threatened them. Everyone present was shocked by him. Fear arose in his heart. A person who could attract the wolves and not die, who even dared to kill people, such a person was better left alone. "The wolves are surrounded. What should we do now?" Xiao Dai asked. She no longer felt like she was looking at the dumbstruck Along anymore. It felt very special. Furthermore, she felt that Long Fei's aura was extremely strong. The others also looked at Long Fei. Long Fei looked at the corpse on the ground, then dragged Shatong and the wolf pack, and said in a low voice, "Without my orders, no one can move a muscle, understand?" The idea moved. View true chi value. 480 points. The highly toxic tracking consumed 5 points of true chi per second. This way, it would deplete its true chi value in less than 2 minutes. Whoosh. Long Fei let out a light breath, walked to a place 3 meters away from a wolf, and lightly said, "Hungry, right? As I said earlier, I've prepared some food for you. Come and eat." Finished. Long Fei threw Shatong's body forward, at the feet of the demon wolf. Immediately, the wolves released low growls. This was not because they were angry, nor was it because they were venting their anger, it was because they were hungry to the point that they couldn't endure it. Long Fei had discovered this from the very beginning. Not just these wolves. Many demon beasts were like this. Moreover, they were all very savage, and many disciples would definitely die in this assessment. The martial arts training was just that cruel. Most of the people who died on the way didn't even have a corpse. Roar! The demon wolves that were initially surrounding them quickly pounced on them and rushed towards Shatong's body, crazily biting and tearing at it. The intensity of the bite was so intense that only a few demon wolves stared at Long Fei and the others. "Along, let's run," Xiao Dai whispered. This was the best time to run. If he didn't run now, he wouldn't be able to escape. Thin Monkey's legs were already itching to run out. After all, they were facing a pack of wolves. Long Fei grinned. Suddenly, his footsteps rushed forward, directly towards the place where the wolves were the most concentrated. The idea moved, and said. The alchemist released his Q skill. Long Fei's body released a poisonous miasma. Immediately, these demon wolves were quickly poisoned, damage continuously rising from their heads. What is he doing? Are you crazy? Is he crazy or a fool? What was he doing in a pack of wolves? You're courting death. Are you guys running? If you don't run, will I run? Everyone's faces turned serious. They were all shocked by Long Fei's actions. Thin Monkey had already run out. Xiao Dai also ran, but she was charging towards Long Fei. The big size man was startled, he grinded his teeth and followed Xiao Dai. Only the couple was left in a daze. They didn't move, neither did they run, nor did they move. Awoo! Awoo! The demonic wolf roared, and the poisoned demonic wolf started to attack Long Fei. Long Fei's mouth carried a cold smile, and said, "You dregs want to injure me? Do you even know who I am?" His steps were agile. Every part of him cleverly avoided the attacks of the demon wolves. These steps were the movements from his previous World's Games. Long Fei had also been practicing slowly during this period, especially since he spent the entire night practicing. More than 10 demon wolves pounced over, but he didn't even have a single hair on his body. However, the consumption of true chi value was too fast. Just using highly toxic tracking S was not enough to kill these demon wolves. The value of the true chi was too low. "Along, I'm here." Xiao Dai quickly rushed forward. The big-sized guy also said naively, "Big brother along, I'm here too." Long Fei's face became anxious. "What are you guys doing here? Didn't I tell you to stay put?" When they came to Long Fei, they were actually a little worried. Moreover, would highly toxic tracking hurt them? Long Fei himself was not confident either, but in that instant, he immediately deactivated his skill. He took the chance and jumped out, directly blocking Xiao Dai and said, "Sis, quickly retreat." "I'll do it." At this moment, a demonic wolf pounced forward, pouncing towards Long Fei's back. The big bloke, seeing the situation, did not care too much and went to block it. He let out a furious roar, "Ah! Shua!" The demon wolf drew 3 bloody lines on the big guy's chest, which were so deep that their bones could be seen. Long Fei was shocked, his heart moved. The figure of the King Kong Li Yuanbar appeared in his mind once again. Long Fei was slightly angered, he took out his sky sword and stabbed forward. Awoo! The demon wolf died. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing level 1 demonic wolf. Congratulations player Long Fei for killing level 1 demonic wolf. Another demon wolf pounced forward. Xiao Dai reacted quickly, and also thrusted out his sword. After severely injuring the demon wolf, Long Fei took the opportunity to kill it in one move. The 3 of them stood in a line. Long Fei looked at the big size man and asked, "Can you hold on?" The big guy smiled innocently and said, "No problem, I'm just thick-skinned." Long Fei said, "All right. I'll lure the monsters, you guys take the chance to make a move. Remember to immediately retreat after your move. Do you understand that you can't fight for too long?" Long Fei said quickly. The big size man and Xiao Dai both nodded at the same time. All right. Attack. What is Long Fei? Professional player. He was also a master tactician. In this situation where their strengths were completely different, he displayed extremely strong battle prowess. Long Fei acted as a tank to block the demon wolf's attack. Moreover, in this situation, he was also the main DPS player. The system kept beeping. This kind of rhythm made him feel as if he was fighting within a game. Moreover, this feeling could only be described with one word: great. It made his blood boil with pleasure. In another place, "Your Highness, we've hunted 300 demon beasts so far. I don't know why, but there are a lot of demon beast in Xianbei Mountain this year. Many of them came out from deep within the Xianyu mountain range. I don't know what's going on." The 7th prince was lying on the rocking chair, playing with an apple in his hand. He was not concerned with these things at all, and asked, "Where is that woman called Xiao Dai now?" The man immediately reported, "It's in the south side of Xianbei Mountain, and her team has our people, you can rest assured." 7th prince lightly smiled and said, "To the south. He looked at the sky. Seventh prince said, "It's almost dark. Bring her here tonight." In this desolate mountain range, Zhao Yiqian's mind was filled with Xiao Dai's figure, and he felt that the more Xiao Dai looked at her, the more charismatic he seemed, and the more he wanted to obtain her. That disciple immediately said, "Your Highness, don't worry. We will definitely bring her back for you." Seventh prince laughed obscenely. "Ha ha ha." Then, he looked in the direction of the Xian Yu sect and lightly said, "Miao Chong, you should have gotten it by now, right? Is that old fart dead? Thank you for your support." Chapter 2235, The Onlooker. Chapter 2235, The Onlooker on a Barren Hillside. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. A hearty laugh rang out. Gui Qingshan basically would not laugh like that. Miao Chong was also a cold and murderous person, he would not laugh like that. But, amongst the two people in the room, there was a large wine jar placed beside one of them. The two of them were Gui Qingshan and Miao Chong. Was he here to kill someone? Were they here to have fun? "General, is the princess all right?" Miao Chong asked. Gui Qingshan nodded. "It's been 16 years. The baby that came out of the wilderness has already grown up. She doesn't know her own past yet." Finished. Gui Qingshan picked up the jar of wine and gulped it down, a hint of loneliness in his eyes. Miao Chong also sighed lightly, and said, "It's good that you don't know, but the current Zhao family is no longer the Zhao family from 10 years ago. Zhao Chongshan's current cultivation is probably already at the true martial peak realm. In a few years, he might be able to become the true martial emperor. It's better not to let her know about this, it's just adding to her own troubles." Miao Chong drank a mouthful of wine after he finished speaking. Peak of the genuine force. True martial emperor. Gui Qingshan secretly clenched his fists tightly, and said solemnly, "There are some things that I have to do." After he finished speaking, he took another big gulp of the strong wine. The liquor burned in his throat and reached his stomach. It was as if he had swallowed a ball of fire, causing his entire body to feel parched and hot. Miao Chong looked at Gui Qingshan, and said slightly, "Great General, so many years have passed. With our current strength, we are unable to defeat the Zhao family. The Zhao family. Too big now." More than half of the cultivators in Zhaoguo's territory were controlled by the royal family. With the addition of the old demon Zhao Chongshan, his strength was unshakable. His other identity was an outer disciple of the god's tribe. You want to overthrow him? It was impossible. Gui Qingshan knew about this too, but some things had to be done, and some people had to be killed. Otherwise, it would be meaningless to be a person. Miao Chong changed the subject and asked, "Great General, haven't you met any good seedlings these past few years?" Gui Qingshan's gaze recovered slightly, he shook his head. "It's difficult, there are countless sects in Zhaoguo's territory. If any genius is discovered, they will be immediately recruited by the sect of Infinitors. There is no shortage of bowl these days. Just 1,000 li of horses were missing. As long as you're a genius, once you're discovered, there'll be large sects fighting for you and nurturing you." Xian Yu sect was only a middle-ranking sect, recruiting some special genius disciples was simply too difficult. Not to mention that he was just a small elder. Then, the image of Long Fei flashed across Gui Qingshan's mind, and he muttered, "I wonder if he counts, breaking through from the Escalate Body 2 stage to the 6th grade of body refinement in just one night." Others might not be able to tell, but Gui Qingshan was able to. Moreover, from the moment Long Fei came to this desolate hillside, he had been paying attention to him. Including Long Fei killing Zhu Tian, he had seen it all. He had to say it. Long Fei was very special. Even after observing for so long, he still could not understand Long Fei. "Huh." Miao Chong shook and said, "Who has this kind of inherent skill? To break through 4 realms consecutively in one night?" Gui Qingshan laughed and said, "Your talent and potential are all low, and you are probably only at the refinement realm. When you reach the blood refinement realm, the qi refining realm will slow down, or even slow down." He had persisted on obtaining Long Fei's inherent skill before. It could be said, bad, pretty bad kind. Even if his body refining speed broke through a bit faster, it wouldn't be of any use. What he wanted was a super genius who had a chance to enter the Zhenwu realm. Long Fei was obviously not the type of person he was looking for. Miao Chong could not help but sigh. All the cultivators in the world are controlled by the Zhao family. Even if they find out that some peerless genius, the Zhao family, is not obtained, they would not let anyone else have it. While they were talking, Miao Chong glanced at the ox stall outside and looked at the green ox. He could not help but ask, "Great General, was it this cow that scared the seventh prince to the point he peed his pants?" Regarding this matter, Gui Qingshan was also puzzled, and said, "This ox's blood vein is not simple, it's just that. No matter how strong the blood vein are, they will still not be a match for powerhouse of the elixir S. I don't know what happened that day. Besides, this cow can talk now." Gui Qingshan had never been able to understand it. Was it because Qing Niu was intelligent, or was it because of the pills refined by Long Fei? There was no way to explain it. Miao Chong was startled. "You said human words. This. Even a 9th grade spirit beast wouldn't be able to do that, right? What kind of blood vein is this?" Gui Qingshan shook his head and said, "I still haven't figured this out. Back then, when I was being hunted down, I was forced to put the princess in the cave, and when I returned to find the princess, I found out that this calf was being protected there. You didn't know about this at the time, but quite a few 7-rating monster and beasts died on the side." Miao Chong asked, 7-rating monster and beasts? No wonder it could intimidate the peak powerhouse of the elixir realm. The two of them chatted for a while. The alcohol in the wine jar also gradually decreased. The sun was about to set. Gui Qingshan stood up and said faintly, "The 7th prince sent you to kill me. How are you going to explain this now?" Miao Chong laughed and said, "Ha ha ha. What the hell is the 7th prince supposed to be? If it wasn't for your great general, I, Miao Chong, wouldn't be a soldier that you would accept. I used to be one, am one, and will be one again in the future. We'll talk about it later. How am I your opponent? Ha ha ha. Ranked 3rd on the elixir ranking. Zhao Guo's strength was definitely in the top 100, yet such an expert actually said that he was not his match. How strong was Gui Qingshan? Gui Qingshan asked, "Then how are you going to explain this to 7th prince?" Miao Chong laughed and said, "Don't worry, I have a way. But for the princess. The 7th prince participating in the selection might be detrimental to the princess." Gui Qingshan smiled faintly and said, "You don't have to worry about this matter. Just based on that kid alone, he is able to suppress someone at the 8th grade of refining body. Last night, he had seen how Long Fei killed Bulldrome. The sharpness of that sword. For example, the fairy from heaven. Not to mention the Bulldrome, he thought about it for an entire night but he did not even think of the method to break it." Miao Chong said, "That kid." Gui Qingshan said, "If he can still maintain this speed, maybe he really is a peerless genius." If that's the case. Gui Qingshan squinted. Traces of hope lit up in his heart. Ha ha ha. Awesome. Long Fei killed more than 20 wolves in quick succession, and they were all killed by him. From the first 3 people to the couples joining. Finally, Thin Monkey also came back to fight together. Under Long Fei's leadership, a small team displayed extremely strong fighting strength. As he roasted the leg of the wolf, the oil was sizzling and the smell of burnt flesh permeated the air. The big-size man tore off a big piece of roast meat and laughed foolishly. "Big brother along, you are really powerful." Thin Monkey immediately followed up with fawning and said, "What's awesome?" "That's pretty impressive, okay. With these demon wolves battle achievements, we will definitely be able to enter the Xianyu sect." At this moment, a few people walked out of the darkness, and the leading person sneered, "You're sure? I don't think so, right?" Chapter 2236 Robbing? Courting Death. Chapter 2236 Robbing? Courting Death. Xiao Dai's eyes turned cold. She was about to stand up and shout, "Who are you people?" As soon as she finished speaking, the big-sized man, Thin Monkey, and the young couple immediately stood up. At this moment, whoosh 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 whoosh, the swords were placed around their necks. The youth in the lead said with a faint smile, "Don't move. Kill whoever moves." It was also at this time. A dozen or so people surrounded them. The young man in the lead laughed complacently, walked to Long Fei's side and dodged the roast meat in his hands, then fiercely took a bite. His mouth was filled with oil as he said, "This roast meat isn't bad." Long Fei said calmly, "You want to eat barbecue? There are as many as you want here." The youth looked at Long Fei and laughed coldly. Xiao Dai asked, "What do you want?" "This is the examination grounds, you all." The teenager was eating the roasted meat. He looked around at the 20-odd corpses of the demon wolves. The heads of these demon wolves had been chopped off. He was astonished. He smiled and said, "I don't want to do anything. Hand over the heads of the demon wolves you have killed." The big bloke said straightforwardly, "No way, that's what we exchanged with our lives. In order to kill these demon beasts, they almost lost their lives. Everyone was wounded, which was why they ignored the warning and didn't have time to react when people approached them." Without waiting for Big Ul to finish, the youth glanced at him coldly and slapped his face. He shouted coldly, "What are you trading for? That has nothing to do with me." Pa. A resounding slap. The 5-finger marks on his face were clearly visible. The giant's head tilted and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Everyone moved. It was also at this moment that the long swords on their necks abruptly pressed down and shouted in a heavy voice, "None of you move." The youth sneered. He stared at the big bloke and said, "Is it okay now?" The big bloke refused to accept this. His eyes were as wide as a cow's as he said again, "No. You are ***king courting death." The youth's eyes darkened as he slapped him again. Pa. The giant spat out another mouthful of blood. At this time, the youth pulled out his sword and pointed it at the big guy's forehead, sneering, "Can you do it now?" His eyes were filled with a cold killing intent. The surrounding people all laughed. Xiao Dai huffed and puffed. In Thin Monkey, it was the same for the young couple. However, they were both suppressed by the sword and did not dare to move recklessly. Xiao Dai said angrily, "You two are plundering. I will definitely report this matter to the elders." The youth said with a sneer, "Reporting in? Ha ha ha. After tomorrow, we will be official disciples of the Xianyu sect and you will only be eliminated. Who are you reporting to? Who would believe in a loser? Ha ha ha. No one would believe a weakling. If you failed the exam, you would be a weakling. With these demon wolf heads, they would be able to pass the examination, while Xiao Dai and the others would be eliminated." Xiao Dai said, "I don't believe you." Without waiting for her to finish speaking, the youth's gaze became even colder and his killing intent grew even stronger. He didn't know why. Long Fei's reaction towards killing intent was exceptionally strong. The killing intent of the youth was completely felt by him. Killing intent. Immediately. Long Fei immediately said, "Hand over all the heads of the demon wolves to them." Xiao Dai was startled. "Along, what are you afraid of?" The big size man and the thin monkey were also stunned. This was something that they had risked their lives for, yet they were robbed just like that. They couldn't accept it. Moreover, what did these monster head mean? This meant that they had the qualifications to pass the examination. Without these monster head, they would definitely fail. To them, entering the Xianyu sect was too important. Xiao Dai was also not willing to give up. She did not want to leave this place that she had lived in for more than 10 years, and she also did not want Long Fei to be chased out either. Long Fei's voice became heavy. "Leave it to them, listen to me, hand it over." Long Fei shouted heavily. The big guy was not satisfied, but he still did as he was told and took out the demon wolf's head from the wooden signboard. The youth laughed complacently, looked at Long Fei, and said, "Brat, you're still the best. You have a good future, ha ha ha." Long Fei was very clear about this in his heart. If Xiao Dai and the others did not hand over the monster head, the youth would kill them. He couldn't let Xiao Dai take this risk. Not long after, all 20-odd monster head were brought out. Long Fei slightly said, "We have already handed over the monster head, can you let us go now?" The youth said, "Put it away." A few youngsters quickly came up and stored more than 20 monster head into the spatial wooden signboard. At this time, a youth said, "Brother, this girl is not bad. The teenager looked at Xiao Dai. That person continued, in any case, they are destined to be eliminated. They won't be able to hold their own against all odds, so why don't we? Heh. The corners of the youth's mouth curled into an evil smile. Many people also revealed an evil smile. At this time, Long Fei's eyes darkened, and said coldly, "If I were you, I would have immediately left with these monster head." His eyes were ice-cold and filled with a chilling intent. The young man looked at Long Fei, and laughed coldly with disdain. "It's a pity that you're not me, and that you'll never become me, understand? Trash." As soon as he finished, the youth walked towards Xiao Dai, laughed lewdly, and said, "Beauty, let this brother have a good time. Perhaps, this brother will be happy and bring you along to enter the Xianyu sect tomorrow." At this moment, Long Fei's figure moved. Shua. Suddenly, he moved. The sword on his neck drew a shallow line of blood on his neck. He didn't care at all. "Big brother, be careful." At this time, Long Fei had already rushed in front of him. The young man's eyes turned sinister. He struck his palm towards Long Fei's head and shouted, "You're courting death." However, without waiting for his palm to fall, the sky sword in Long Fei's hand moved, piercing the heart. One-hit kill. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Wu San for obtaining 300 experience, 50 true chi points, and 1 mad god value. Poochie. Wu San glared at Long Fei as his body slowly fell to the ground. 5th grade refining body. 1 sword kill. Furthermore, that sword just now was incomparably sharp and astonishing. Wu San was not given any time to react at all. Everyone was taken aback. No one thought that Long Fei would suddenly make a move, and that he was trying to kill them. He didn't even blink when he killed. Cold. Resolve. It didn't match his age at all. The last time he killed Ju Tian, Long Fei did not have any reaction. Killing people was like a very normal thing. This was not a game. People who died cannot be reborn in the spring. But he didn't react at all. It was as if he was used to it. Long Fei himself also felt that it was strange. He felt that he still had memories that had not awakened. None of them had ever seen a killing scene before. As they looked at Wu San, who was covered in blood, all of them trembled. Long Fei shouted in a serious tone, "Scram!" As if they had been granted amnesty, they scrambled to escape. Chapter 22:37 Eye of Insight. Chapter 22:37 Eye of Insight. In the blink of an eye, all of them had disappeared. The cold and gloomy aura on Long Fei's body receded slightly. Imperceptibly, the pressure he emitted also disappeared. Xiao Dai exhaled, his eyes stared straight at Long Fei, a strange sensation in his heart. However, she liked it. Because Along had become stronger. The big size man was excited too. "Big brother Along, the sword attack just now was too cool." Thin Monkey also said, "One person scared away more than 20 people, ha ha ha. Amazing, too amazing." The young couple was also extremely excited as they said, "Mighty." Without waiting for him to speak, Xiao Dai slapped the back of his head and said, "Powerful my ass, what's the use of killing someone? When we told them to scram, we didn't even know how to make them leave their monster head behind. Idiots, idiots." Long Fei stared blankly for a moment, then patted his thigh and said, "Aya, I forgot. I'll go chase him right away." After saying that, he turned around and was about to give chase. Xiao Dai pulled him back and said, "Forget it, don't let anything happen to him." Actually, Long Fei did not mind those demon beastess, as they could no longer be hunted. What he cared about was Xiao Dai. The big guy said, "It's such a pity, with those demon beast heads, we can pass the test. What do we do now? Tomorrow morning is the end of the exam. We can't go hunting at night, right?" Thin Monkey looked up at the sky and sighed, saying, "Looks like there's no hope this year, Aya. The 3rd time, I won't have the chance next year. I really have to go back to the mountain village and farm some land for my dad." The big guy also said, "My age is also here. This is my last exam. If I don't pass it, I'll have to learn pig slaughtering from my dad." The young couple did not say anything, but they just sighed. If they didn't pass the exam, Then they would be disbanded by the families of both parties. To everyone here, entering the Xianyu sect was extremely important, and could change their lives. But now, his hopes were dashed. They were going to fight back. Long Fei looked at each and every one of them with a sour feeling in his heart, and said, "Hunting tonight." Xiao Dai immediately said, "Are you crazy? The demon beast at night are much stronger than during the day." Night was the world of the demon beast. His eyesight was stronger than a human's. It was better to hide. A little. Compared to the power he had during the day, it was at least 10% stronger. In other words, during the day, he was a level 1 monster, but at night, he was much stronger. Hunting demon beast at night was extremely dangerous. Long Fei said, "Believe me, I'll definitely be able to let all of you pass the examination." Thin Monkey said, "Brother Along, it's not that we don't believe in you, it's that we don't believe in ourselves. We can't even see that far with a torch in our hands, we can't take the pounce of any demon beast." He smiled helplessly. "Maybe I am the life of a pig, so I shouldn't have had such a dream like the martial arts training." The couple held hands even tighter. Xiao Dai also lowered his head. "Accept your fate." Long Fei didn't know why, but the word resigned seemed to have angered him as he asked, "Why would you accept your fate? Our lives are in our own hands. Why should we accept our fate? What is fate? Why should I lower my head to it?" Regarding fate, Long Fei felt an indescribable rage in his heart. "Hate." Long Fei said in a heavy voice, "We are our own rulers, our fates are not bound by any restrictions. We have to believe that my life is not under the heavens. Trust me. I can definitely bring you into the Xianyu sect." Long Fei's eyes lit up. It was a firm and bright light. As if the sky sword beside him had felt the powerful domineering aura of "I give up my life to the heavens," it also flickered with a bit of a bright light. The beam of light floated up slowly like a spirit. Then, S eyes lit up. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Eye of Insight for a duration of 12 hours. As soon as he finished, Long Fei's eyes did not change, but his vision underwent a world-shaking change. What he was looking at right now was the same as it was during the daytime, and he was looking even further ahead. More importantly, his eyes could see through. Even through the trees, the rocks could see what was behind them. What the F***K? Long Fei's heart suddenly became excited, his blood boiling. He was so happy that his heart felt like it was going to explode. "I have a perspective eye, I have a perspective eye, ha ha ha." In his previous life, he had always dreamed of having 2 perspective eyes. Even in his dreams, he wanted to see if there was any girl next door who slept during the day and worked at night. Moreover, from time to time came the high-pitched noise of yi-yi. Now they finally had it. Long Fei's gaze turned slightly, and slowly shifted to Xiao Dai's body. He swallowed hard. At this moment, in front of him, Xiao Dai was like naked. It is well developed. Fiery body. Gudong. Long Fei swallowed his saliva once again, a strong stimulating force surging inside his nose. "I can't take it anymore, I can't take it anymore, I'm about to have a nosebleed." Xiao Dai saw that Long Fei was abnormal and couldn't help but take a step forward and ask in concern, "Along, what's wrong?" Seeing Xiao Dai coming forward, Long Fei took a few steps back and said, I'm fine. The guilt in my heart suddenly rose. You beast, I gave you the Eye of Insight so that you could use it to kill demon beast, but you used it to look at girls, and even saved you and take care of your girls. You are too beast. F***ck. If I don't look, then am I not inferior to beasts? Long Fei struggled in his heart. However, in order to calm himself down, Long Fei withdrew his Eye of Insight. If he continued to look through, he really would not be able to control himself. Wow! Eye of Insight. It can only last for 12 hours. If it can last forever, that would be great. Long Fei took a glance at the sky sword in his hand and thought in his heart, is this sword a bug? The lucky value is full, and you can even release the Eye of Insight, F***ck. This is definitely a bug. Xiao Dai was infected by Long Fei and said, no matter what, we have to give it our all. The big guy also said, we're going to throw caution to the wind. At worst, we can just go home and kill pigs. Thin Monkey and the young couple also stood up. Xianbei Mountain, the place that led to the deep mountains. Roar! An intense roar exploded in the darkness, causing the entire Xianbei Mountain to tremble. At the same time, another roar exploded and was even more powerful than the previous one. It was like a fight between gods. A huge colorful lizard. The other was a mountain-like chimpanzee. Countless bloody wounds appeared on the body of the chimpanzee. Several spots of blood gushed out as the chimpanzee continuously roared in anger. The colorful lizard whizzed over. The chimp madly rushed towards Xianbei Mountain. Chapter 2238, Great Skills vs. Great Skills. Chapter 2238, Great Skills vs. Great Skills. The two demon beast bellowed, covering an area of hundreds of kilometers. Xianbei Mountain was shaken. Those low-level demon beasts were so scared that they crawled on the ground and trembled. The night in the forest became more dangerous. What? He's gone. The seventh prince's eyes opened wide as he suddenly stood up and kicked the servant, cursing him. Useless trash, you can't even look at a single person. Bam! He kicked it away. He rolled around on the ground, feeling pain in his abdomen, but he didn't dare make any sound. He quickly kneeled on the ground and said, "Your Highness, give me some more time. I will definitely find him." He did not think that the mark that Shatong would give would suddenly disappear. Moreover, he was currently not in a continuous state with Shatong at all. "Humph!" Seventh Prince shouted, "Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and go." "Yes, sir." The man quickly retreated, then jumped into the darkness. At this time, an elder came out and said slightly, "Your Highness, just now, two demon beastess of level 7 and above roared, and are getting closer and closer to the Xianbei Mountain. It is not good to stay here any longer, let us quickly leave." He was an elder sent by Yi Changfeng to protect Zhao Yiqian. Forget about him, even if there were 100 of him, he would still not be a match for the demon beast that roared just now. He didn't care. However, if something were to happen to the seventh prince, he wouldn't be able to bear the consequences. Another elder also said, "Your Highness, with your current results, you should be able to take first place. There's no need to compete for anything." Someone had already helped him hunt more than 400 demon beast. Adding the 4 monster and beasts that was already prepared beforehand, the first one would definitely be him. No one could move. The seventh prince sneered, his gloomy eyes stared at the two elders, and he coldly said, "Do you know what I hate the most?" The two elders were stunned. The seventh prince coldly glared. "I hate it when people criticize in front of me. Command me. Who do you think you are? You have the right to order me to do what?" The seventh prince was extremely disdainful and also abnormally arrogant, looking down on everyone. The two elders' eyes darkened. "Your Highness, we are not commanding you, we are just not waiting for him to finish." Zhao Yiqian suddenly moved, stepped forward and slapped his face, then coldly shouted, "I do not need you to teach me how to act, scram to the side." Pa! A resounding slap on the face. That elder's face was ashen, his fists clenched tightly as the anger in his heart surged. "Why? You don't like it?" Suddenly, seventh prince slapped him again. "Is it cool now?" The left slap, the right slap, the 5 finger marks on the sides of his face, he had never been humiliated like this before. Furthermore, he couldn't hit back yet. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Gritting his teeth, the other elder held on tightly, fearing that Zhongxian would act impulsively. Seventh prince loudly laughed. "Ha ha ha. Are you unhappy? Want to fight back? Come on, I'll stand here and give it a try." "Who is he?" Seventh prince, the son the empress doted on the most. Arrogant and domineering. He didn't put anyone in his eyes and did whatever he wanted. Similarly, the power was in his hands. The elder slightly lowered his body and solemnly replied, "I would not dare." Humph. The seventh prince's smile faded as he shouted, "If you don't dare, then scram to the side." Trash. The two elders retreated. The anger in their hearts soared to the heavens. If Zhao Etian wasn't the seventh prince, he would already be a corpse now. Sigh. Elder Lei, bear with it. In the dense forest, the six-man team swiftly advanced. However, after searching for more than 2 hours, they were unable to find any demon beast. In this 2 hours, they had already delved deeper and deeper into the Xianbei mountain. They were about to reach the gap between Xianbei mountain and him. Tonight is very strange. Why are all the demon beast gone? Thin Monkey could not help but mutter. The big guy said, could it be related to those 2 back legs? Xiao Dai said, that's possible. She looked ahead and could not help but say, along, we can't move any further forward, we are going to enter the Xianyu mountain range, it's too dangerous inside. The young couple said, the Xianbei mountain veins are one of the most dangerous mountain ranges within Zhaoguo's territory. I heard that there are those big demon beasts inside that are able to overturn the heavens and overturn the earth. The big bloke muttered, then what do? We don't have enough demon beast to pass the test. Long Fei released his X-ray vision and looked into the distance, only to find that there was not a single demon beast within 100-meter radius. The further they went, the more demon beast they lost. Very strange. They were about to reach the entrance of the Xianyu mountain range. Then it meant that he had truly stepped into the heart of the Xianyu mountain range, and the demon beast inside were not the level 1 secondary demon beast in the Xianbei mountain. The danger level increased by more than 10,000 times. Not to mention the cultivation base of the refinement realm, even the masters of the refinement realm didn't dare to recklessly enter. Long Fei pondered for a moment, then said, let's continue. Xiao Dai was slightly taken aback. The big guy smiled and said, great. Thin Monkey was a little worried. Isn't it too dangerous? He was more timid. Long Fei said, I reckon that the 2 demon beasts' roars just now scared away all of the Xianbei Mountain's demon beast. Even if they did not run away, they would have probably hidden away. It would be very difficult to find them. Right now, the only way out is to enter the Xianyu mountain range. There's still some time before daybreak. We have to hunt the demon beast before then. Long Fei promised them that he would bring them into the Xianyu sect. He would definitely do what he said. Everyone's gaze tensed up, but they also steeled their hearts, and followed Long Fei into the entrance of the Xianyu mountain range. Rumble. 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 The huge mountain was torn apart, and a towering tree was uprooted. The area within 10 kilometers was a complete mess. The scene was like a fight between gods. I'm afraid it's unusual. The chimpanzee's breathing became heavier, and a few more deep wounds appeared on his body. The colorful lizard was also in a bit of a sorry state. One of its legs was broken, but the killing intent in its eyes was even stronger. Bam! The colorful lizard moved, shua. The huge figure suddenly disappeared. At this moment, a rainbow of lights burst out from the darkness. The chimpanzee's eyes swept in all directions, continuously retreating. It's just that. His body was already enveloped by the 7-colored light. No matter how he retreated, it would still be covered by the light. This was the colorful lizard's ultimate move. Seeing this, the chimpanzee was unable to dodge. His body sank and landed heavily like a mountain. Both of his fists were clenched tightly as streams of vigorous energy burst out from his body. At the same time, golden light shone from his body. It was like the diamond body. Similarly, the chimpanzee also used his trump card. Chapter 2239 Young Sect Master, Yi Yorong. Chapter 2239 Young Sect Master, Yi Yorong. Boom. A fierce collision. The world seemed to have collapsed. The area within 1,000 kilometers began to shake violently, like an earthquake. He couldn't even stand steadily. Many of the floors were directly split open by the shockwave. Xianyu sect. Great clan elder, not good. A huge shock came from the Xianbei mountain. Xianbei mountain? Guanzhen was startled, and immediately said, this is the examination grounds of the martial hall, why would there be such a huge commotion? Could it be an earthquake? The disciple hurriedly replied, according to disciple's understanding, I think. It seems to be 2 powerful demon beasts fighting each other. Great demon beast. How old? Guanzhen continued to ask. That disciple said, it is currently impossible to speculate, but according to the news that the elder Lei has sent back, he is probably level 7 or higher. What? Guanzhen's pupils suddenly shrank. Yi Changfeng's expression also abruptly changed. Has the 7th prince come out yet? He was not worried about anything else, he was only concerned about Zhao Etien's safety. If anything happened to him, the Xianyu sect would suffer as well. As for the lives of the other several thousand disciples, it didn't matter if they died. The 7th prince couldn't afford to let anything happen to him. Yu Wanshan's face changed slightly, and said with some dissatisfaction, I suggest that this assessment is immediately cancelled, and that all the disciples be withdrawn. If it causes too much casualties, how will we report it to their parents? Wu Yi was also in favor of it. Since they are here for the Xianyu sect's assessment, then we must be responsible for it. I also approve of cancelling the assessment and evacuating quickly. A demon beast of level 7 and above, this was not a joke. Even the powerhouse of the Golden Protector level found it hard to resist. These disciples were all in the refinement realm, and the moment they got near, they would die in an instant. If several thousand disciples were to become Xianbei Mountain, how would they explain themselves to the world? The disciple lightly said, Elder Lei also advised 7th Prince to leave, but he did not continue. Yu Wanshan bellowed, Speak, what is it? The disciple glanced at Yi Changfeng and continued, the 7th Prince had given Elder Lei 2 tight slaps in public. What? This is too presumptuous. Yu Wanshan and Wu Yi were instantly enraged. Although the Xianyu sect is within the borders of Zhao Guo, these sects are not under the jurisdiction of the authorities. Completely independent. Yu Wanshan said solemnly, What does the Zhao family think of our Xianyu sect? He beat our clan elder in public, is he still putting our Xianyu sect in his eyes? Too arrogant. If such a person were to become the disciple of our Xianyu sect, wouldn't he overturn the heavens? Both of them said angrily. The 7th Prince had not only slapped Elder Lei's face, he had also slapped his own face. Yi Changfeng was also very unhappy in his heart, but he did not express it out loud. He said lightly, Calm down, elders, now is not the time to fuss about such matters, and I believe that 7th Prince will not act against Elder Lei for no reason either. There must be something wrong with Elder Lei among them. Instead, he spoke to the 7th Prince. One had to know that the elder Lei was his direct disciple. The 2 elders were stunned. Guanzhen was also stunned. Rumble. 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 After a few loud explosions, even the mystic moon hall began to tremble. At this moment, in the night sky outside of the palace, a white shadow descended from the sky like a fairy descending from heaven. Boom. A loud sound echoed out. Its entire body was pitch black, and every feather was as sharp as steel. Its pair of large golden eyes flickered with a peculiar light. It was vicious and cold. Giant condor. On the back of the eagle stood a woman in a long white dress. The woman's expression was cold. The giant condor descended, bringing with it raging gales. The woman's body moved, landing in the great hall. Within the palace, the 3 great elders were startled. They all stepped forward and respectfully said, Young sect master. Yi Yurong. The only daughter of the current sect master of Xianyu sect, Yi Luxian. It was also the princess consort that Zhao Chongshan had personally bestowed upon her not too long ago. But, at this time, she should be in the imperial city, but she came back early for some reason. The 3 elders did not understand, especially Yi Changfeng's heart sank. He was worried that something had happened inside the imperial city. Yi Yurong. A peerless beauty. There was no woman more beautiful than her in the whole of Zhao Guo. Similarly, her cultivation was also like a daughter of heaven, a peerless genius who had obtained the title of #1 talent in the past several hundred years. Appearance and talent combined together. She walked into the hall, her eyes cold. She glanced at Yi Changfeng and asked coldly, Why doesn't the great demon beast that appears in Xianbei Mountain stop the selection? Yi Changfeng trembled, and immediately said, Young sect master, we really want to stop it. Towards Yi Yurong, Even Yi Changfeng did not dare to be disrespectful. Although he was only 20 years old, his cultivation was not weaker than any of them. In addition to her special identity as the princess consort, Yi Changfeng didn't dare to disrespect her. Moreover, the sect master of Xianyu sect was Yi Luxian, but all these years, Yi Yorong was in control of the situation. She was actually the sect master of the Xianyu sect, and also the only beast trainer of the Xianyu sect. She was the one who tamed the rank 6 spirit beast, the black scale carving, outside the hall. Yi Changfeng asked, "Young sect master, why did you come back so early? Shouldn't you have?" Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Yi Yorong immediately said, "Pass down my order, we will immediately stop the martial hall's examination." Yi Yorong turned around and looked at Guanzhen, and said, "Pass my order, gather the elite disciples immediately, and protect the exam disciples as they retreat." Guanzhen immediately replied, "Yes." He quickly left. Yi Changfeng's eyes turned cold, and said, "You don't need to send disciples of the elite hall, right? After all, he is one of the elites of our Xianyu sect. Right now, the 2 big demon beasts have yet to enter the north of the profound sky continent, so the disciples taking the mountain exam should be fine. Furthermore, dawn is about to arrive, so there is no need for us to stop the exam." Yi Yorong glanced at Yi Changfeng and directly asked, "Are you the young sect master, or am I the young sect master?" His tone was ice-cold. Yi Changfeng's voice sank as he said faintly, "You're the young sect master, we'll listen to you." Yi Yorong immediately said, "Then do as I say." Finished. Yi Yorong turned and strode out of the great hall. With a light leap, he landed on the black scale carving. Wow! The black scale carving let out a loud roar, flapped its wings, spreading out its wings that were more than 10 meters long. A gust of wind blew, and in an instant, it flew into the sky. Yi Yorong flew in the direction of the Xianbei mountain. Yi Changfeng squinted, and said, "Something may have happened in the imperial city. I'm afraid Xianyu sect." In another place, Long Fei opened his eye of insight and the group of 6 entered Xianyu mountain range, and they were only a few hundred meters away from the 2 great demon beastess that were like gods. Moreover, Long Fei's eyes released a gold light. A few hundred meters away, a golden light shot out in all directions, the halo of a super boss. Chapter 2240 Not Leaving? Then Kill. Chapter 2240 Not Leaving? Then Kill. The elites of the Xianyu sect were all present. All of them were the elites of the escalated blood stage. Other than that, on the desolate hillside, Miao Chong and Gui Qingshan had also disappeared without a trace. In the Xianbei mountain. Quick, run. Great demon beast, there's a great demon beast. Run. Mom, I want to go home, I want to go home. Who said there are no demon beast at least level 3? Xianyu sect, F*CKU. I'm going to die, even as a ghost I won't let your Xianyu sect go. If I don't die, I won't come take the Xianyu sect's test in my next life. Thousands of disciples scattered in all directions. Moreover, on this kind of night, he couldn't figure out the direction at all and was scurrying around like a fly. The Eastern Wave, Western Group, they were all panicking. At this time, huge tremors continuously came out, causing them to fall into chaos. Many of them were trampled to death. 7th Prince, let's hurry up and leave. If we don't leave now, it'll really be too late. An elder tried to persuade them again. If not for Yi Changfeng's order, they would have already escaped. The 7th Prince sneered, "Trash, you're already this scared before the great demon beast even appeared. If the great demon beast appeared, then wouldn't you be scared to the point of wetting your pants?" He wasn't afraid. He had never known fear since he was young. Only the last time. That was the pain in his heart. Thinking of that time. If I don't deal with her tonight, I won't be called Zhao Yitian. He had no intention of leaving. At this time, a disciple ran back anxiously and said, "Your Highness, that woman has been found, but..." Zhao Yitian said, "But what?" The disciple anxiously said, "They have entered Xianyu mountain range, Your Highness, I think we should find another opportunity." Pa. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, He slapped him across the face and Zhao Yiqian shouted, "Trash, what is he afraid of? Go to Xian Yu mountain range." Everyone around him was startled. Seventh Prince shouted, "Did you not hear what I said? To the Xian Yu mountain range." Finished. He strode towards the direction of the Xian Yu mountain range. The attendants had no choice but to follow him. The seventh prince did not know what fear was. He did not know what big demon beast was. He had been so used to it since he was young. From the start, he had no idea what danger was. The two elders clenched their fists tightly. They really wanted to carry the seventh prince and leave, but they didn't dare to move. The seventh prince was someone that an insignificant figure like them couldn't afford to offend. He could only bite the bullet and follow up. Holy *T. A fight between the gods. Long Fei pushed away the leaves, and looked at the messy battlefield in front of him, and heavily gulped down his saliva. However, this made Long Fei too excited. Xiao Dai and the rest were all stunned. Xiao Dai tugged on Long Fei's sleeve and said, "Along, let's quickly leave this place." Thin Monkey nodded his head like a chick pecking at rice, his legs trembling non-stop. "Quick, quick, quick, leave this place." A demon beast tens of meters tall. They had to raise their heads to see clearly. Compared to the big demon beast, they were like little ants. This was the first time they had ever seen this kind of demon beast. My heart can't take it. Long Fei turned around and saw their pale faces, and said, "You guys retreat to the Xianbei mountain first, I'll wait." The two deities were engaged in a battle, with both of them heavily injured. This might be an opportunity. Moreover, how much experience would a demon beast have? How unimaginable. He must have leveled up like flying. Long Fei had a principle in playing games. It was that if he saw a boss, he had to get rid of it no matter what. If he couldn't kill it on his first try, then he would do it twice, 3 times, 10 times. If you don't, then it's not Long Fei. The demon beast in front of him was a super big boss, and they were both heavily injured. Absolutely impossible. Moreover, if he could kill a demon beast like that, their team would be able to pass the test. One was enough. No way. Along, you have to retreat as well. Xiao Dai immediately grabbed Long Fei's arm and pulled tightly, as if he was afraid that Long Fei would do something stupid. The Thin Monkey said, "Brother Long, don't think too much. Keeping your life is more important, we should quickly leave." The big guy also nodded and said, "Yeah, let's get out of here first." Long Fei glanced at the blood count on the head of the great demon beast and said, "All right, let's leave this place first." He still had more than half of his health, so he had quite a bit of time. Long Fei thought to himself that he should first send them to a safe place, and then come back by himself. He had to kill these two bosses. However, at this moment, the girl suddenly screamed, "Snake!" Shua! A giant python wrapped around a tree suddenly attacked. His speed was incredibly fast. Long Fei's reaction was also as fast as lightning. With a glide, he rushed forward and slashed the sky sword in his hand. Shua! With his sword, he chopped off the head of the snake. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing level 1 green python. Congratulations player Long Fei for killing level 1 green python. The couple quickly said, "Thank you, brother Long." Long Fei said, "It's fine, let's quickly leave." Chem. Why did it become so quiet? Long Fei was slightly shocked. Xiao Dai's eyes slightly rose, and his body couldn't help but tremble as he said, "We can't leave, we've been discovered." Overhead, the chimpanzee's large eyes were fixed on the 6 of them. Not only that, the colorful lizard was the same, staring at them with its colorful glowing eyes. Gudong! Long Fei swallowed his saliva, and then shouted out loudly, "Run!" The dazed 5 people reacted and instantly fled crazily. The fight between the deities stopped. Why? This was because they hated humans even more. He would never let a human leave alive. In the instant that Long Fei and the others were fleeing crazily, the chimp grabbed a huge tree that was as tall as the sky and smashed it down, blocking their path completely. Boom! To the right, Long Fei shouted. Boom! Not waiting for Long Fei to run far, another towering tree came crashing down, blocking their path. The same thing happened several times in a row. Moreover, Long Fei and the other four were immediately surrounded by the huge trees. There was nowhere to run. It was also at this time. The colorful lizard spat out its long tongue, let out a low roar, and directly pounced forward. F***ck. Long Fei's anger had already started. You aren't letting me leave, right? Then Lousy won't leave. F***ck. The flames were raging. He had never been forced to this extent by a demon beast before. You guys attract its aggro, I'll deal the damage. Long Fei moved her idea. If I don't kill the two of you today, I would be surnamed Long. In another place. Atop the black scale carving, Yi Yurong said slightly, someone has entered the Xianyu mountain range. Speed up. Chapter 2241, The Last Ultimate Skill. Chapter 2241, The Last Ultimate Skill. According to Long Fei's words, he would first ask Xiao Dai and the others to withdraw, and only come in to reap when the fight between the ape and the colorful lizard is over. However, don't let him go. There was only one way left. Kill. However, as soon as Long Fei finished speaking, Thin Monkey kneeled on the ground. The young couple hugged each other and trembled. In front of the big demon beast, human beings were even more helpless than ants. At least the big demon beast would not kill ants, but they were human beings, targets of the demon beast's hatred. He definitely wouldn't let them off. Xiao Dai asked, what do we do? We're no match for him. Xiao Dai looked at Thin Monkey and the couple again. If they didn't fight, they would be terrified, and if not for the attack, standing up would be a problem, right now. The demon beast were too terrifying. Long Fei's brows also tightened. This was the first time he had seen such a huge demon beast, so he did not know why he did not feel any fear in his heart. On the contrary, his blood was boiling. It was as if such scenes happened frequently. Immediately, Long Fei frowned and immediately said, Sis, you stay here and take care of them. I'll lure them away. Xiao Dai was startled, eh? Without waiting for Xiao Dai to stop him, he already ran out. The big size man gritted his teeth and said, Big brother along, I will go with you. He also quickly followed. Long Fei stood on top of the towering tree that blocked in front of them, and used all his strength to heavily roar, Grandson, grandfather is here, come. Roar. The chimp let out a roar as if he had understood something. While doing so, he pulled up a towering tree from the ground and threw it towards Long Fei. Huff. Long Fei quickly jumped, using his body refining 6th grade speed to the extreme. This time he had used all of his strength. Boom. There was a huge pit behind his buttocks. Sawdust, dirt, and shattered rocks filled the sky. A strong shockwave swept over and Long Fei was sent flying in the air, feeling aghast in his heart. Damn, this is so strong. It was not an ordinary type of power. If he was hit, he would be instantly killed. In the air, Long Fei somersaulted and somersaulted before landing on the ground again. Looking at the gorilla that was chasing after him, he loudly said, Grandson, grandfather is here. Roar. The chimpanzee pounded his chest with both fists, dropped his forelegs, and pushed himself up. Crash. The sound of wind breaking was ear-piercing. Its enormous body instantly pounced over, covering the sky and covering the sun, as a black shadow enveloped Long Fei. Holy **T. No matter how fast Long Fei was, he was not a match for the 7-rating monster and beasts. In just a moment, it had caught up, and under the cover of the black shadow, the ape was like a huge bomb. If it jumped down like that, Long Fei would be smashed into meat paste. What should we do? Long Fei's heart sank, and looked at the Overlord tripod. Damn it, I'm going all out. Just as Long Fei was about to summon his Overlord tripod, the big size man at the other side suddenly shouted out, Brother along, be careful. Shua. 7 rays of light suddenly appeared. Colorful lizard that had been hibernating suddenly attacked. 2 deities attacking? Who could block it? Not even the Overlord tripod. Long Fei was confused. The 2 great demon beasts were completely in a world of immortals. At the same time, Long Fei felt that he was too weak. clenched his fists tightly, not showing any fear at all, as if he was not afraid of death. However, at this moment, boom, bang, with a loud explosion, the chimpanzee that was pouncing towards him was suddenly sent flying. The mountain broke and a huge tree broke into pieces. Long Fei trembled slightly. The colorful lizard had been hiding all this time, waiting for an opportunity. Humans were nothing in his eyes. His target was the chimpanzee. It had always been a chimp, but once it saw that the chimp was focused on Long Fei, he suddenly launched a sneak attack. Awoo! The chimpanzee cried out in pain, a large hole appearing in his chest. Blood gushed out. The colorful lizard started to attack crazily. Long Fei contemptuously said, "Is killing this daddy fun now?" Although he was not dead, he knew clearly in his heart that once the chimps died, no one would be able to control the colorful lizard, and then they would all die. No way. I have to think of a way. We can't let either of the two demon beasts go. Long Fei thought in his heart. These two demon beasts were super bosses, not to mention what they could produce. Even if it was their experience, it would be enough for Long Fei to fly. Immediately, Long Fei did not run, but quickly rushed to the battlefield. Big brother along. The big guy didn't understand. He didn't know why Long Fei would still rush forward at this time. When he was about to follow up, two disciples of Xian Yu sect immediately jumped down from the stage in front of him. Let's go. Grabbing his arm, they quickly retreated in the direction of the Xianbei mountain, Sister Yi. Xiao Dai looked at the black scale carving above. His face was filled with joy, but immediately said, "Sister Yi, go save Along, he is in front." Yi Yorong was the first to arrive. The black scale carving was too fast. Seeing Xiao Dai and the others, Yi Yorong immediately said, "Bring them to a safe area." And then, Yi Yorong looked at the battlefield in front of him and his eyebrows tightened. The black scale carving cried a few times. There was fear in his voice. It was a rank 6 spirit beast, and at the same time, it was not a match for the great 7 rating monster and beasts. Moreover, would a body refinement realm martial artist still have his life? There was no need to go. Yi Yorong hesitated. Go. With a cry, the black scale carving flapped its wings and flew forward. No matter what. Those were all disciples who came to the Xian Yu sect to take the examination. As the young sect master, she had to be responsible for them. Then again, she did not understand how a mere body refinement cultivator could enter the great demon beast's battlefield. Courting death. Yi Yorong couldn't help but think of himself. Compared to Long Fei, wasn't she courting death? The Zhao dynasty was just like a big demon beast. She was just like a martial artist at the refinement realm, not caring about her life at all. Rumble. 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 When immortals fought, the world would be destroyed. The sneak attack just now had severely injured the chimp, and it was no longer a match for the colorful lizard. He wouldn't be able to hold on much longer. Long Fei was very clear, and so was the colorful lizard. No way. If the chimpanzees die, we will all die. Long Fei quickly ran up to the chimp and said, "I can help you." Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to understand Long Fei's sarcastic remarks. As soon as Long Fei finished speaking, the gorilla's expression changed, his eyes filled with disdain. The colorful lizard even looked at Long Fei with contempt. A human in the refinement realm could not even be considered cannon fodder in front of him. Long Fei continued, "Give your body to me for control, I can help you. If you don't want to die, then do as I say." Long Fei was going to release an possession parasite. Chapter 242 Bobo is great. Chapter 242 Bobo is great. The parasitic possession technique was divided into 10 levels. His current level of cultivation could only be released by 1 level. If he wanted to possess the great 7 rating monster and beast's chimp, he had to get its permission, otherwise Long Fei would not be able to enter into the chimp's body no matter what. This was the only way. The chimp still looked at Long Fei disdainfully. He did not believe that humans would save him, nor did he believe that humans had the ability to do so. A body refinement realm martial artist was even inferior to an ant. Save him? What a joke. Bam. Boom, boom. The colorful lizard's eyes were bloodshot from killing. What enmity or hatred? The chimpanzee was always on the defensive, but he was on the verge of collapsing. In the distance, the black scale carving floated in mid-air. Yi Yorong looked down at Long Fei. Shua. He jumped down from the air and instantly landed beside Long Fei. Without saying anything, he grabbed Long Fei's arm and prepared to leave. Too fast. Long Fei didn't have time to react, and Yi Yorong didn't have any intention to negotiate with Long Fei either. Who are you? Damn, what do you want to do? Let me go. Did you hear that? Don't think I won't dare to do anything to you just because you're a woman. Long Fei struggled for a few moments before turning his head to look at Yi Yorong. His eyes were startled and he could not help but say, so big. One had to know that Long Fei was currently in the mode of activating the Eye of Insight. Yi Yorong was completely naked in front of him. That figure. That chest. Long Fei was completely shocked. This wave. It's really big. Wow. Yi Yorong's eyes darkened, an ice-cold look in her eyes. She hated it when people were staring at her chest, but Long Fei was undisguised, not even blinking. More importantly, Long Fei's eyes seemed to be able to see through her clothes. This was an intuition. Yi Yorong said solemnly, if you dare look around again, I'll dig out your eyes. A murderous tone. Long Fei regained his composure and looked down. When he was prepared to look at the quiet valley, he discovered a sword wound on her abdomen. Your wound is bleeding. Just as Long Fei finished speaking, Yi Yorong's face suddenly changed, his eyes stared straight at Long Fei, the pressure burst out, and he shouted, who are you? No one knew about her injuries, and she had just returned to the Xianyu sect, so no one in the entire sect knew, so how could the Long Fei in front of her know? Long Fei did not reply, but instead said, your injuries aren't light. As he spoke, he wanted to touch it with his hand. It was also at this time. Yi Yorong's expression suddenly changed, and he struck out a palm towards Long Fei. Long Fei was shocked, he immediately scolded, I just want to see your injuries, are you F***king crazy? Bam! Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei had already been blown away. From 7 to 8 meters in the air, Long Fei fell down heavily, to the point where his butt almost blossomed out. He grimaced in pain, looking at Yi Yorong who was still in the air, he cursed, damn you. Is Bo the most amazing? Buodong can just casually hit people? Roar. The chimp let out another painful scream. Long Fei's body trembled, and he saw that the chimp only had a sliver of health left. It would be dead in less than half a minute. Crap. Long Fei secretly cried out as he rushed towards the chimp quickly. At the same time, he shouted, only I can save you, if you don't want to die, don't stop me. He quickly rushed forward. He was the chimpanzee's savior. Similarly, the chimpanzee was also his savior. Returning to the black scale carving, Yi Yorong looked at Long Fei who was constantly charging towards the ape on the ground, and she was a little puzzled. What does he want to do? Save the chimpanzees? Or to die? In this kind of situation, if Long Fei stepped forward, he would definitely die. However, this time Yi Yorong did not step forward to stop her, because he knew that her body was injured. Thus, it would be even better if Long Fei died. Yi Yorong was also wondering in his heart, how did he know that I'm injured? Is he from the Zhao family? Yi Yorong became suspicious, but quickly denied it. No matter how fast the Zhao family members were, they were not faster than him. Let's see what you want to do, Yi Yorong said coldly. At this moment, during the rush, Long Fei didn't care about whether the chimp agreed or not. At this time, he didn't care anymore. Buzz. Possession parasite. Open. A strand of power flowed out of Long Fei's body like her idea. At this moment, he quickly rushed into the gorilla's sea of consciousness. The chimpanzee's mind resisted a little. Long Fei roared, if you want to live, listen to my words, give me your body. The chimpanzee howled in pain. The demon beast was the same as the humans. They both didn't want to die, and the closer they got to death, the more afraid they became of death. Long Fei's idea was right outside the chimp's brain. Long Fei seemed to have become the chimp's savior. Suddenly, The door to the sea of consciousness opened, and long phase possession technique quickly entered. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating level 7 parasite possession technique. As soon as he finished, Long Fei's possession was complete, and in that moment he also felt an incomparably powerful strength. Damn, this is the power of a level 7 possession. At the same time, Long Fei's body froze in place, not moving an inch. Why isn't he moving? Yi Yorong was suspicious. Rumble. With an explosive sound, the chimpanzee suddenly stood up. It was like a black mountain. This scene was incomparably eye-catching. Yi Yorong was stunned. He could not understand. The colorful lizard was also startled. He was clearly going to die from his violence. Why did he suddenly stand up? Moreover, the chimpanzee looked different than it had at first. Scum. Tremble. The chimp hammered its chest and roared crazily. Without waiting for the colorful lizard to attack, Long Fei immediately pounced and his shadow covered the sky. The colorful lizard reacted quickly and attacked at the same time. However, without waiting for him to attack, the King Kong fist struck down. Boom. Boom. Asterisk asterisk boom. Asterisk asterisk boom. Asterisk asterisk boom. Asterisk roar. The colorful lizard roared in pain as it opened its mouth to bite. Without waiting for it to bite him, Long Fei suddenly pressed both his hands down, directly entering the colorful lizard's mouth and pulled the long snake's tongue with him. Bam! He heavily smashed down. The plot reversed. The colorful lizard was being brutally beaten. He was not a match at all. The HP bar on top of his head rapidly bottomed out. Long Fei started to attack crazily, not giving the colorful lizard any chance to resist. He stepped on the ground and smashed it hard, with every step he took using his full strength. Bang, bang, bang. Every strike was a critical hit. 203,822, 212,323. Looking at the colorful lizard's last bit of HP, Long Fei's fists exploded, hitting it hard. Explode for me. Chapter 2243 Explosion of the Universal Soul. Chapter 2243 Explosion of the Universal Soul. The plot flipped too suddenly. Yi Yorong didn't even have time to react. The black scale carving was also confused. The chimp hugged his fists and smashed the colorful lizard with his sledgehammer. The colorful lizard's head was smashed into a pile of meat paste. Long Fei was excited. Ha ha ha. Explode for me. Explode for me, explode. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing colorful lizard for obtaining 1 million experience, 100,000 true chi points, and 10 arrogant god energy value points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining colorful lizard. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining colorful lizard bone. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the rainbow barrier. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Rainbow Flame Blade Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward for defeating the super boss Colorful Lizard. The reward is Universal Soul. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 7th grade of Body Refinement. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, 8th grade Refining Body. Ding. Ding, ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 1st grade of Blood Refining. 1 million experience points had caused Long Fei's level to soar. He had directly leveled up to level 4, breaking through to the 1st rank of the Blood Refinement realm. Awesome. Rainbow Barrier. Shield. Ha ha ha. It's a good item. With this, I'll gain 1000 HP out of nowhere. Rainbow Flame Berserker Blade. Bringing along a 7-colored light and a flaming blade, this is too cool. An Earth-ranked divine weapon, this is a good item. Ha ha ha. Long Fei was grinning from ear to ear. In the past, killing a boss in a game would have felt great, but this feeling was even more satisfying. Special item, Universal Soul. This was a special reward from the system. Long Fei looked at a small ball of something that looked like mist floating in the system, and muttered, Universal Soul, why do I feel like I've seen it before? It was a very familiar feeling, as if he had seen it before. If Long Fei's memories didn't contain the seal, he had indeed seen it before. At that time, he was only inside the Chaos Realm, and relying on the Universal Soul, he almost killed the Destiny God. At that time, his cultivation was not comparable to Universal Worlds. Was currently in the middle of the Universal Large World, so if he were to use this Universal Soul, it would definitely be earth-shattering. Item: Universal Soul Grade. Attribute. Description: uniqueness. It could be used to increase strength, or it could also be used to refine artifacts. It is an all-powerful adjunct. No matter what it was, it could be used, and it would result in a very powerful change. Uniqueness. It's just a one-time use item. Keep it for now. Long Fei moved and kept the Universal Soul. It was also at this time. The possession parasite spell was almost over. In the chimpanzee's sea of consciousness. The chimpanzee panted heavily like a lamp that had run out of oil. He said lightly, "Thank you." The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted, and said, "No need to thank me, I've said I can help you, moreover." The corner of Long Fei's mouth revealed a hint of a smile. The colorful lizard was a super boss, and the gorilla was also a super boss. With 1,000,000 experience points, it was enough for him to level up a few times. He definitely could not let it go. When the time for the parasitic spell came, Long Fei was going to make his move. The chimpanzee already had a little bit of skin left over, so he didn't have to worry about getting rid of it as long as he took a few hits. However, Long Fei had yet to finish her beautiful dream when the system suddenly sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the quest Save the Chimpanzees. Mission level, S-Task reward, 1,000,000 experience points, 10,000 true Chi-S, 50 arrogant god energy value points, 1 special reward. Do you accept? Huh! Long Fei was startled, and then he cursed in his heart, "Damn, what's going on? This is a boss. Should I save it? Its HP is already low. Even if I don't kill him, he will die. How can I kill a big demon beast like that?" Moreover, without waiting for Long Fei to reject, the system automatically accepted the quest. Ding! System notification. Quest failure level 10F *CKU. Long Fei was immediately furious. Previously, he had only dropped by 1 level, but now, he had dropped by 10 levels. Save, save, save. Is it not okay for Lousy to save you? You are the system, and you are an ancestor, right? If the system was human, Long Fei would definitely beat him up. But how can I save him? With what? There was nothing he could do. In this kind of situation, the demon beast needed an incomparably powerful elixir. Moreover, it was the type of elixir that could bring death back to life. Forget about divine pellets, Long Fei did not even have a single level 1 pellet. What was he supposed to save? Ding! System notification. The duration of possession parasite is over. Long Fei returned to the real face. His body also regained its freedom. Yi Yorong, who had been watching from high up in the sky, had a surprised look on his face. Long Fei walked in front of the gorilla and said, "I want to save you, but I really do not know how to save him. I am just a small martial artist who does not have many miraculous pills or medicines. I cannot save him. Can you please cancel the mission?" The chimp simply did not know what Long Fei was talking about. However, his eyes were filled with gratitude. He had won the battle with the colorful lizard. He thanked Long Fei. The chimpanzee panted heavily as damage figures continuously floated up above his head. Long Fei became even more anxious. "There's only 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Where can I go to look for a healing pill? Pills, pills." He was so anxious that cold sweat started to pour from Long Fei's forehead. To drop 10 levels, that really was a night before liberation. Pills, pills. Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes shone with a bright light as he said excitedly, "Right, weren't there a lot of pills in the 73 space ring? I am now a escalated blood stage, my level has increased, can I use it?" What were those 73 space ring? Powerhouse of God's tribe space ring. They were the strongest race in the universal large world, and the pellets in their space ring S were all divine pellets, the top pellets in the universal large world. In that instant, Long Fei moved and looked at the space ring floating in the system space. Ding. Level is not high enough, I can't use it. A space ring cannot do it. Ding. Level is not high enough, I can't use it. Another space ring was also not good. Ding. A dozen or so space ring were unable to take out pills in a row. Seeing that the gorilla's HP was running low, Long Fei was burning with anxiety. Even though it had failed the quest and it had dropped by 10 levels, he still tried to open the space ring. Old master, bless me. One is enough. Ding. Do you want to receive a tier 1 divine pill? Happiness came too suddenly. Long Fei was startled for half a second, then immediately said, receive. A purple gold pellet fell into Long Fei's hands. Long Fei did not care about that, he directly ran to the chimp and put the divine pellet into its mouth. Long Fei began to pray, RMI to or Buddha, please bless Lord of Buddha, don't fail, I don't want to become LV1. Rumble. A loud explosion resounded. The body of the chimpanzee suddenly underwent a drastic change. In this instant, Long Fei looked at the scene in front of him. Stunned. Chapter 2244, Transforming King Kong. Chapter 2244, Transforming King Kong. The 73 space ring were just like the 73 treasure chests. They opened dozens of them consecutively before they could produce a grade 1 spirit pill. Long Fei didn't even have time to check the properties of the divine pellet before stuffing it into the gorilla's mouth. Once the divine medicinal liquid was released, a huge reaction immediately occurred. Long Fei jumped down from the chimpanzee's chest, both of his eyes were in a daze, what was happening right in front of his eyes shocked him. Damn, what the F***ck. This. He was so shocked that he couldn't even speak. The chimpanzee suddenly stood up, and all the wounds on its body instantly healed. The wound on his head was instantly filled. Gold light flashed from his body, boom, boom. The power within his body continuously vibrated. What was this? This was a resonance of power that would only appear when one broke through. In just a split second, the chimp had gone from grade 7 rating monster and beasts to level 9. Demon beasts were similar to humans in that they needed to cultivate in order to break through, but every stage of the demon beast's breakthrough was much more difficult than the humans. Moreover, its level 1 breakthrough was almost equivalent to a human breaking through a large boundary. To break through 2 realms consecutively in less than a second? If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, who would have believed it? To be able to heal a wound and instantly heal it, breaking through 2 levels consecutively, that must be incredible, right? However, all of this is nothing. What truly shocked Long Fei wasn't these, but the change in the gorilla's body. Catcher. Boom. A pair of heavy metal gloves appeared on his fists. As for what kind of metal? Long Fei didn't know, but the golden light around his body looked like it was made out of pure gold. Crack. Boom. On his knees was a thick suit of metal armor. Crack. Boom. On his shoulders, there was a thick set of metal arm guard. Crack. Boom. On his chest, there was a thick metal armor. Crack. Boom. A heavy metal hat appeared on his head. This scene. Just like the Transformers, just like the thunder and lightning within a game, his body was covered in a thick layer of heavy armor. Moreover, the strength and defensive aura he exuded was completely different from before. Long Fei was confused. He was truly stupefied. The chimpanzee's sudden change was too strong, so strong that his heart couldn't take it anymore. At the same time, his heart was filled with incomparable excitement. Wow! If a divine pill has such a great power, then, lousy. Thinking about the 73 space ring, although not every space ring had a divine pellet, at Long Fei's current level, the thing he took out was the lowest level existence among these 73 space ring. What did this mean? This meant that when his level became stronger in the future, the things inside this space ring would be able to oppress everything. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Lousy is rich, lousy is definitely strong. Long Fei was so excited that it felt like he was trampling the entire Zhenwu continent. The chimpanzee hugged his fists. Catcher, catcher. A series of metal clashing sounds rang out. Boom. Flames flew in all directions. The chimp knelt down on one knee and said in the broken human language, "Thank you." It was also at this time. Ding. Congratulations player Long Fei for completing the Save the Chimpanzee quest. You have received 1 million experience, 100,000 true chi points, 50 arrogant god energy value, and a special reward. Do you wish to activate it? Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Escalate Blood 2 stage. He leveled up once again. This felt great. Long Fei looked at the system's special reward, and the idea moved. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward. The reward is Beast Mastery. Do you wish to cultivate it? Just one skill? Long Fei started to despise him a little, and said, "Cultivate Beast Mastery." It was a very rare cultivation technique in Zhenwu continent. Moreover, not everyone could become a beast trainer. The beast mastery rewarded by the system was completely different from the one bestowed by the Zhenwu continent. Long Fei did not know about this. Long Fei withdrew the system, looked at Transformers and said, "It's fine, I said that I could save you, so I will definitely save you." The current Transformers was already a level 9 demon beast. His HP was probably at least 1,000,000 points. What could Long Fei do to such a monster? Even if he wanted to kill him, it would be useless. He wasn't a match at all. Long Fei also lost this heart. Transforming King Kong stood up, his eyes full of gratitude. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 100 points of affability level with the chimp. The affection of a monster. Long Fei trembled slightly, looked at the Transformers and asked, "Why were you chased here by lizards?" The Transformers didn't hold back at all, and said, "Because I've discovered a secret." Long Fei asked doubtfully, "You found a secret, but you're not being hunted down by lizards. Could it be that you've discovered that the lizard's wife is stealing people?" Transformers said, "No, I've discovered that the Xianbei mountain veins has a special fairyland. Coincidentally, the lizard has also discovered me. In order to monopolize that fairyland, it chased after me non-stop. The lizard's perception is stronger than mine, so I feel that there must be some great treasures within the fairyland." A great treasure. Long Fei's eyes lit up. "Do you know the location?" Transformers nodded and said, "I know. Do you want to go now?" "I can take you there. Go." Just as he finished speaking, Long Fei looked at the color of the sky, and then said, "We can't go for the time being." He was still in the middle of the exam. Moreover, the fairyland the Transformers was talking about was definitely deep inside the Xianbei mountain. With his current cultivation level, entering it would just be seeking death. "Right. I need some monster head. Can you help me hunt them?" Long Fei looked at the sky. The sky was about to brighten and the assessment was about to end. He had promised Xiao Dai and the others that he would definitely guide them through the assessment. When a man speaks, he means what he says. Without any hesitation, the Transformers turned and ran into the forest. Long Fei also turned and walked towards the gigantic colorful lizard. It was enough to have this great 7-rating monster and beasts, but Long Fei was afraid. On the back of the black scale carving, Yi Yorong's face changed. Chimpanzee's breakthroughs and transformations happened right before her eyes. Moreover, she saw Long Fei instantly mutate when he was fed something to the chimp. Who is he? What exactly is it for chimpanzees to eat? Why is it so powerful? Yi Yorong was incomparably shocked in his heart. The black scale carving stared at Long Fei with her eagle eyes, her face filled with jealousy and envy. It just wanted to kneel in front of Long Fei and beg for that divine pellet. It wanted to break through as well as transform. "Let me touch it. Let me touch it." Boom. Half an hour later, a large pile of demon beast corpses appeared in front of Long Fei. 3 levels, 4 levels, and a level 5 demon beast. It had only been half an hour and over 100 demon beasts had already been killed. Long Fei was shocked, but he felt a bit of regret in his heart. If I had known earlier, I would have gone with you. These were all experience points. This caused Yi Yorong, who was on the black scale carving, to be even more shocked. She didn't expect that it would actually help Long Fei kill demon beast after the chimp left. Could it be that the chimpanzee is already a spirit beast that he tamed? A 9th grade spirit beast, that. Yi Yorong's eyes tensed up. Up until now, there had not been any level 9 spirit beasts. Even within the Zhao dynasty, the strongest sect of Infinitors did not have any level 9 spirit beasts. Looking at Long Fei, Yi Yorong's eyes flashed with a strange light. It was as if she saw a trace of hope from Long Fei. All right, you can leave. I'll come find you the next time I enter the mountain. Long Fei patted Transformers and waved his hand. The Transformers did not linger. Long Fei said that he wanted to enter the Fairyland, so he was prepared. Following that, its huge body disappeared into the forest. I'm so happy today, so happy today. Long Fei whistled and hummed with a face full of excitement. With these monster head, he would be able to pass the examination. When I step into the Qi refining stage, I will be preparing to enter the Xianbei mountain veins to take a risk. Immortal realm? Heh. Long Fei was already extremely looking forward to it. The more valuable a place was, the more he would look forward to it. It didn't matter if they played games or reality, who wouldn't want to live a good life? Hello everyone, I am Along from MC. I am shouting for everyone today, Blade Mountain Flame Sea Guild. The more Long Fei thought about it, the more excited he became, and it was as if he was walking towards the pinnacle of his life. Blade, angrily slicing the snow-winged eagle. Mountain, your heroic spirit soars to the heavens. Just as he was about to lose track of himself, the black scale carving and Yi Yorong descended. Cough cough. Yi Yorong coughed. Long Fei still had not reacted, he was still in the midst of shouting wheat. Cough, cough, cough. Yi Yorong's voice rose. Only then did Long Fei turn his head abruptly. At this moment, he still had time to look with his penetrating eyes. Looking at Yi Yorong's figure and that huge wave. Gudong. He couldn't help but swallow his saliva. I can't stand it. Long Fei couldn't even control his body when he wanted to. Yi Yorong's figure was simply too great, then the skin, the figure and especially the wave on his chest. He really wanted to madly bite it. Long Fei forced himself to calm down, and asked, why haven't you left yet? Right. What did you mean just now? Didn't I say that you were injured, yet you attacked me? Long Fei thought about the scene just now and remained vigilant. He was not clear about Yi Yorong's identity. However, his intuition told him that this woman was not simple. Yi Yorong changed from his usual self and revealed a faint smile. You're an examinee from Xianyu sect? This smile. Long Fei's mind trembled, and said, that's right. Yi Yorong continued to laugh. You hunted so many demon beasts. Long Fei said, is there a problem? Yi Yorong said, no problem, what problems can there be? A person at the refinement realm can kill those at level 3, 4, 5. What problems does the Great 7 rating monster and beasts have? Long Fei was not an idiot, these words were obviously off, and he said, if you have something to say, just say it. Smart. Yi Yorong said, I like to interact with smart people the most. Give me the pill that you gave to the chimp just now, I can ignore the things that you cheated. The eyes of the black scale carving shone with a golden light. Its heart was filled with gratitude. Yi Yorong also wanted to let the black scale carving break through, transform, and become strong demon beast. This way, she would have another reason to rely on. However, without waiting for her to finish speaking, Long Fei ignored her and said, no. He searched over 30 space ring before taking out this one. Did he still have anything left in his storage ring? To be honest, he didn't even know. Moreover, even if there was, he wouldn't give it to her. To be able to instantly allow a 7 rating monster and beasts to break through its limits, the value of this pill was invincible. How could he just give it to someone so casually? Yi Yorong's face sank, and used a threatening tone. You better think carefully. As long as I expose your cheating, you and your friends won't be able to enter Xianyu sect. F***ck. Threatening your father? Long Fei was immediately angered. He hated people who threatened him the most, and said, "Don't even mention how big your chest is, I have even seen the bigger one." Threatening your father? Even if you're the young sect master of the Xianyu sect, it's still useless. Very angry, Long Fei muttered to himself, standing naked in front of me, and threatening me. TSK, do you believe that I won't tell you how many moles you have? Yi Yorong glared at him coldly. What did you say? Say what? Long Fei said, I'll tell you. Do you believe that I won't tell you everything about the mole on your body? You still want to threaten me? Don't you know who your brother is? Yi Yorong squinted his eyes, carrying a cold intent. He didn't know why. She kept feeling that she was naked in front of Long Fei, as if her entire body had been seen by Long Fei. The atmosphere was cold, and the temperature around them dropped abruptly. The hairs on Long Fei's body stood up, and he said lightly, Don't be reckless, there are injuries on your body, if you continue to move and crack them, I won't be responsible for your wounds. He carefully took a few steps back. He was really worried that Yi Yorong would make a move. He definitely wasn't a match for her. Yi Yorong squinted his eyes again. The killing intent became even stronger as he asked, How did you see the wounds on my body? Long Fei smirked, and said, I just know. Yi Yorong's right hand moved, whoosh, the long sword shot out. Her figure also attacked in that moment. Long Fei had no chance to react at all. Without even batting an eye, a cold sword was pressed against his throat. Yi Yorong replied coldly, Speak. Her injury must not be exposed. Moreover, the wounds on her body were not ordinary. Once it was exposed, the consequences would be unimaginable. The idea moved a little as it looked at the ball of universal soul in the system space. As long as he felt the killing intent from Yi Yorong increase even more, he would instantly release it. Will you tell me? Yi Yorong asked. Long Fei was extremely calm, his two eyes stared straight at Yi Yorong's chest, and he laughed sinisterly, I won't say it. Look even bigger at close range. Wow. And then? Long Fei didn't wait for Yi Yorong to get angry and said, I can say anything I want, unless you agree to a condition of mine. Yi Yorong asked, What conditions? Long Fei swallowed his saliva and said, Let me touch your chest. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Yi Yorong's face turned sinister, his killing intent became dense instantly. You're courting death. Chapter 246, He can't escape from my hands. Chapter 246, He can't escape from my hands. Long Fei was a man, a very normal man. Moreover, in his memory, he was a otaku who had just crossed over from Earth. Every day, he would fly to the computer and suddenly have a perspective eye. How could he not be excited? He believed that any man would be unable to control himself. Because it was really too big. It made his hands itch. The more Yi Yorong stood in front of Long Fei, the more he felt that he was naked. Yet Long Fei teased her at such a critical juncture. He was simply courting death. Moreover, Yi Yorong's personality was ice-cold. Long Fei's conditions made her extremely angry. The cold sword in his hand moved. At this moment, along, big brother along, brother along. A few shouts came from not too far away. Yi Yorong's eyes turned cold, he retreated quickly, and stared at Long Fei. Kid, just you wait. Jumping onto the black scale carving. The black scale carving jumped up into the sky and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Long Fei rubbed the bridge of his nose, grinned and said, You made me wait, and I even made you wait for me. Ding. At this moment, the system in his mind suddenly sounded out. Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating the 7 beauty diagram quest. F***ck. A clue to a super quest. Long Fei's heart trembled. Before he had awakened his first life's memories, he already had this mission. If he could find 7 beauties, he would receive special rewards. There is no time limit for this task. At the same time, without any clues, A clue for the mission suddenly appeared. Long Fei was shocked. Could she be one of the 7 meridians painting I was looking for? He was secretly shocked. It was also at this time. Xiao Dai and the others ran up, looking at the pile of demon beast beside Long Fei. The 5 of them were all shocked. Thin Monkey immediately cheered, "Ha ha ha. We're rich, we're going to have a chance." The big bloke immediately cried tears of joy and started to wail loudly. The young couple hugged each other tightly. To them, these demon beast meant that their fates had changed. It was a major turning point. Xiao Dai chuckled as he looked at Long Fei. Her smile was like a flower, incomparably moving. Long Fei was intoxicated from watching. He laughed. "What are you still standing there for? Hurry up and help." The 5 of them rushed forward happily. "Why didn't you make a move?" The black scale carving and Yi Yorong began conversing. He was a spirit beast subdued by Yi Yorong using the beast mastery, and was able to communicate with his master, the idea. The black scale carving said, "Kill him and we will naturally be able to find the things on his body." Yi Yorong said, "In the future, there will be plenty of opportunities. He will not be able to escape from my grasp." She never thought of killing Long Fei. However, she also definitely did not want to let Long Fei go. The black scale carving did not understand. Yi Yorong said, "Can he still run in Xianyu sect? I know you're envious of that chimpanzee. Don't worry, I will definitely help you. It's just that right now, The black scale carving also returned to normal and said, "The injuries on your body." Yi Yorong said, "I am simply unable to withstand the power of Zhao Wuji's everlasting burning sword, and this is still Zhao Wuji. If it was Zhao Chongshan, I'm afraid that I would already be dead." Thinking of that sword, her palms couldn't help but break out in cold sweat. A cold chill went down his spine. The black scale carving asked, "How did he know you were injured?" Yi Yorong sank into deep thought. She did not know about this question, but she felt that Long Fei was not a simple person. Actually, Yi Yorong should be glad that he did not make a move. Otherwise, she probably wouldn't be in this world anymore. At that moment, with just a slight movement from Long Fei, the universal soul would transform into energy and be released. At least, half of the Xianbei Mountains vein would be destroyed. Black Northern Sect, martial arts practice field. The disciples that were taking the exam rushed back one after another. At this moment, a resting room specially provided for Zhao Yitian. Trash. All of you are King trash. You can't even find a woman. What's the use of asking all of you? If she dares to enter Xianbei Mountain, do you not dare? Rice bucket. Trash. Zhao Yitian's face was filled with anger and displeasure. The servants of the 7th prince in the lounge all lowered their heads, not daring to even raise their eyes. At this time, Miao Chong walked into the resting room. Zhao Yitian immediately asked, "Did you finish off that old thing and that cow?" Miao Chong slightly said, "This subordinate is useless. I did not find that cow or that old man." What? Zhao Yitian's eyes were wide opened as he stared at Miao Chong. If he was not afraid of Miao Chong's strength, he would have slapped him. He was so angry that he clenched his fists and said, "Third place on the Elixir S list, what use is there for you?" Miao Chong's body sunk, his eyes flashed with a sinister light. Zhao Yitian trembled slightly, revealing a terrified look. "Since there's no use in finding them, what did you do all day?" Miao Chong said coldly, "Wait." Zhao Yitian said, "Did we wait until then?" Miao Chong replied, "No. You." Zhao Yitian glared fiercely at Miao Chong. Everything that had happened today had gone his way, and he himself had not ridden Xiao Dai under his crotch. He had not expected Miao Chong to fail as well. One of the disciples said softly, "Your Highness, monk can run but the temple can't. As long as we enter the Xianyu sect we can take them down." Exactly. A duck that is in the mouth can fly. Don't worry, next time I'll definitely deliver her to you tied up. This time, they were doing it for the 7th prince's safety. It didn't matter if they couldn't find Xiao Dai. If something were to happen to the 7th prince, they would all die with him. At this time, a disciple of the law enforcement hall said, "Your Highness, the results of the assessment are about to be announced." The elder wants you to come over. Zhao Etian said, announce the results of the assessment. Didn't you say that this examination would be cancelled? The disciple said, no, we will not cancel it. We will calculate the result of this assessment. Zhao Etian replied, got it. He felt that it was a bit strange, but the corners of his mouth curled up as he said, examination results. Not cancel. Then who the F***K is my opponent? Actually. This time, Yi Changfeng insisted on not cancelling the assessment. It was for the seventh prince. He knew clearly in his heart that the seventh prince had made all the preparations and must let him take first place. The martial arts arena was in an uproar. Didn't you say to cancel the examination? Why are there any results? In any case, it's still top 1000. It doesn't matter whether I cancel it or not. Is this a scam? Stop complaining. If you have the guts, then don't come take the exam. Who do you think will be first this time? Is there any need to guess? It's definitely the seventh prince. He's at the 8th level of the body refinement realm. Who can compare to him? Exactly. Discussions broke out. Not long after, Guan Zhen, Yi Changfeng, Yu Wanshan, Wu Yi and a few other heavyweight elders all appeared. Guan Zhen took a step forward and said, we will now start to count the result. In addition, this time, the martial arts first place will receive a special reward. Finished. On the arena stage, a disciple lifted up the red cloth from the display stand and rolled out an ancient scroll. Many disciples looked on. Guanzhen said, Ancient Moon Volume. Long Fei raised his eyes and looked through the system. Damn. Good stuff. Thank you for your support. Chapter 247. Who dares to fight with me? Chapter 247. Who dares to fight with me? The Ancient Moon Volume could be considered a great treasure of the Xian Yu sect. It was brought out from the primordial secret world by the first sect master, Xian Yu, so its name was Ancient Moon Volume. In the early days, it was the most precious treasure of the Xian Yu sect. However, no one was able to slowly comprehend the things written on it before they lost their position. It was the most representative spirit treasure of the Xian Yu sect. Use it as a reward. This reward was too heavy. This suggestion was suggested by Yi Changfeng. It was very obvious that he wanted to curry favor with the seventh prince, and it was very obvious that the seventh prince would definitely not even need to think about this before this examination. Who didn't know that the guards around him were helping him kill the demon beast? No matter how strong a person was, he couldn't be a match for a dozen people. Moreover, these people were all 5th grade refining body martial artists, so they were even less capable of being a match for him. Yu Wanshan and Wu Yi are opposed to it, but young sect master Yi Yurong actually agreed. This confused the two great elders. The young sect master had the right to take advantage of her, and if she agreed, the two elders would have nothing to say. Ancient Moon Volume? Isn't that the treasure of the Xian Yu sect? Wow, isn't this reward a bit too heavy? Damn, isn't this obviously giving the Ancient Moon Volume to the seventh prince? Why didn't you say that there would be a reward before the assessment? Is there any use in talking about it? If I said a year earlier, you wouldn't have gotten first place either. Exactly. The martial arts arena was in a flurry of discussion. Everyone wanted to obtain the Ancient Moon Volume, but they all knew in their hearts that this treasure had nothing to do with them. It belonged to the seventh prince. Zhao Etian also revealed a complacent smile. At least he had a good thing now. One of the goals of his visit to the Xian Yu sect was to find the Ancient Moon Volume. He didn't expect it to fall into his hands so easily. Is it a good thing? How come I heard that no one was able to understand the words on it? Xiao Dai muttered. She had lived in the Xian Yu sect for 16 years and was naturally familiar with the Ancient Moon Volume. This scroll was indeed a great treasure. However, no one was able to comprehend it. Although it was called a great treasure, it was actually useless. Long Fei muttered, I just feel that it's a good thing. The item was glowing with a golden light. What did this mean? Luminous items were naturally of high quality. If this wasn't a good item, then what was? Thin Monkey said, this time, Xian Yu sect is really generous, He actually took out the ancient moon volume as a reward. The big guy said, "This is for 7th Prince." Even a fool can tell. Thin Monkey rolled his eyes at him. That may not be so. His eyes could not help but look at Long Fei. The big-sized couple looked at Long Fei. Xiao Dai said slightly, "Stop looking at it. The 7th Prince has over a dozen people helping him hunt demon beast. We can't compare." Long Fei laughed and said, "Then we'll have to compete to know." Guanzhen coughed and suppressed the martial arts arena's voice. "We will now announce the results. Please call for the names of the people to come up one by one and hand over the demon beast you have hunted. Let's begin. Liu Neng. 1 level 1 monster, 1 point. Next." He quickly counted. Most of the examinees were basically just 1 or 2 level 1 monster. One of them didn't even manage to hunt 1 demon beast, and just left with 0 eggs. Demon beast were not so easy to kill. Next, Zhao Yitian. Zhao Yitian tidied up his collar and walked forward in large strides, his hand not holding onto the spatial wooden tablet. The statistical disciple said, "Please take out the monster head." Zhao Yitian said in disdain, "What's there to take? I'm first anyway, so I don't think we need that trouble. Just give me the ancient moon volume." The statistical disciple was startled, and looked at Guanzhen who was on the stage. Guanzhen laughed, "Your Highness, we will still need to count the demon beast." Zhao Yitian took off a ring on his finger, and said, "The level of your Xian Yu sect spatial wooden tablet is too low, the space is too small, it's basically useless. I put all the demon beast inside my space ring, take them out for me." Direct command. Guanzhen's face looked displeased. Yi Changfeng said, "Please do it for me." Guanzhen walked forward and the idea moved. It looked inside the space ring and was shocked. There were a whole mountain of monster head inside the space ring. Moreover, not a single drop of blood came out from these monster head, as the inside of the space ring was extremely clean. This space ring must be at least Earth stage. Even Guanzhen didn't have the qualifications to have one. Just a random space ring was a land-level treasure. The Zhao dynasty was indeed not simple. Guanzhen began to take out demon beastess from the space ring S. Everyone began counting. 107 of them, 223, 687, 980 head. When he came to this point, Guanzhen paused slightly. The majority of the demon beast he took out just now were level 1 monster S, a small number of them. The score reached 1500 points. Martial Arts Arena was shocked. Zhao Yitian also laughed complacently, "Who dares to compete with me? Crush him to death." He was extremely pleased with himself. 1,500 points completely broke the history of the Xian Yu sect. Moreover, this wasn't the end, because there was another big thing. Guanzhen slightly coughed, and said, "Here, there's another big fellow." Finished. The head of a 4-rating monster and beasts was taken out. It was sinister and terrifying. Some of the disciples that were nearby immediately became weak from the fear, and they started to retreat. 4-rating monster and beast. My God, how is this possible? This is my first time seeing a 4-rating monster and beast. The 7th Prince isn't simple after all. The 7th Prince is too handsome. This time's first place will definitely be him. This time he'll get 2,000 points. The higher the demon beast's rank, the higher their points. A 4-rating monster and beast's points would reach 500 points, level 5 would give them 1,000 points, level 6 would bring them to 5,000 points, and level 7 would be considered a big demon beast. That was even more terrifying. In the past, the most they had tested for were 3-rate monster and beast's. 4-rating monster and beast's had never appeared before, let alone supermonster S of the 5th and 6th levels. Yi Changfeng stroked his goatee and smiled faintly. Zhao Yitian was extremely pleased with himself. 2,000 points, break the record. Who can compete more? Zhao Yitian said arrogantly, "Just give me the ancient moon volume, don't waste my time." Yu Wanshan was a little displeased and shouted out loud, "The scores have not been calculated yet. How do you know that there are no higher-ranked students than you?" Zhao Yitian sneered, and said straightforwardly, "It's already impressive for these trash to be able to kill 10 demon beast, and you still want to fight me? Humph. You overestimate yourself. An. Zhao Yiqian looked at him and laughed. Even if some of them are taller than me, do they dare to announce it to the public? If you want to oppose me, then go against the imperial family. I want to see who wants to die. He threatened directly. Arrogant, domineering, and arrogant. The martial arts practice field quieted down. At this time, Long Fei walked out and said, "Are the statistics finished? Since I haven't finished counting, let's do a count first." Chapter 248, 10,000 points, scared to the point of pissing. Chapter 248, 10,000 points, scared to the point of pissing. Once he finished, the entire audience was in an uproar as they all looked towards Long Fei. Come out at this time? Wasn't this a provocation? Isn't this courting death? Just as Zhao Yiqian finished speaking, Long Fei suddenly appeared. This made him extremely unhappy, and his eyes darkened slightly as Zhao Yiqian stared at Long Fei and asked, "Who are you?" Long Fei didn't even bother with him. Looking at the statistical senior brother, he said, "Can I announce my results?" The statistical disciple looked at Guan Zhen. Guan Zhen recovered his expression and said, "According to the order of registration." Not waiting for him to finish, Zhao Yiqian directly went up, laughed coldly, and said, "Don't follow the order of bullshit, just let him go first. I want to see how many demon beast he can take out. Arrogant in front of me? It's more like seeking death." Zhao Yiqian looked at Long Fei with disdain. He did not put this kind of person in his eyes at all. What he had said just now was only to those people of the Zhu clan. Amongst all the disciples who were taking the exam, only the people from the Zhu family were a little bit of a threat to him. As for the others, he did not put them in his eyes at all. Long Fei glanced at Zhao Yiqian and said, "My lines have all been snatched by you." Zhao Yiqian said in disdain, "What did you say?" Long Fei shrugged his shoulders, "It's nothing, I have a bad habit of doing things, I just can't stand people acting tough in front of me. Normally, when I encounter these kinds of things, I would just slap them." Zhao Yiqian glared and shouted, "You are king courting death." Long Fei didn't pay any attention to him and said, "I only killed one demon beast." As soon as he finished, Zhao Yiqian immediately laughed out loud, "Ha ha ha. A demon beast? A demon beast wants to compare with me? A demon beast? Damn, how many demon beast do I think he has? Isn't this person taking the examination at the back? Isn't he a fool? Is he a tease? He wants to compete with 7th Prince. It's so damn funny. Ha ha ha." Many people of martial arts arena laughed. In their eyes, Long Fei was just a big fool. How could he be compared to the 7th Prince? Idiot, you want to compare a demon beast with the 7th Prince? Could it be that the demon beast you hunted was a 5-level monster? It might be the level 6 demon beast. Him? Level 6 demon beast, ha ha ha. The crowd laughed again. Long Fei stuck a hand into the spatial wooden tablet, fished around, but was unable to find anything after fumbling around for a long time. Zhao Yiqian was grinning from ear to ear. Is the demon beast too young to find it on the spatial wooden tablet? Ha ha ha. Arrogant in front of me? If I say it, I'll be courting death. Guan Zhen also said slightly, "This is not a good place to joke, hurry up and go down." "No way." Zhao Yiqian said, "If he can't even bring out a single demon beast today, then he is toying with me and the Xianyu sect. For someone like him, according to the law, cut off the tongue. How dare you act so arrogantly in front of him? If he did not give some color to him, then he would not be Zhao Yiqian." At this time, not far away, Yi Yorong also slowly walked a few steps forward. Long Fei's eyes opened, and sweat poured down his body like rain. His entire body was completely drenched. Following that, all the veins on his body began to bulge, as he roared out loudly, "Open your eyes wide and look carefully." Giggle. His right arm suddenly thickened as he exerted his strength. Boom. The gigantic colorful lizard head was taken out from the space ring. Although it was only a head, the domineering aura of the Great 7 rating monster and beasts was still there. The head that was lifted up into the air by Long Fei was like a huge body that suddenly trembled. It was too terrifying. Rumble. A loud sound echoed out. It crashed onto the ground right beside the seventh prince. At this moment, the seventh prince's face suddenly turned as pale as a thin sheet of paper. His entire body trembled without stop, and he even forgot to retreat. Moreover, his crotch began to drip. If the last time he was scared to the point of peeing, then this time it was a mental suppression. His mind felt as if it had been shattered and he was scared to death. This was not a normal life-threatening situation. It was quite frightening, as if his groin had shrunk and he was scared out of his wits. Other than Zhao Yiqian, many of those who had mocked him earlier were so scared that they wanted to prostrate on the ground. Guanzhen's eyes turned sinister. Yi Changfeng's expression also secretly changed. Good heavens! Yu Wanshan said excitedly. Immediately, there was not a single sound in the entire arena, as they were all squashed dead by the great 7-rating monster and beast's head. Domineering. Too overbearing. Without doing anything, the moment he attacked, he was like a great 7-rating monster and beasts, tyrannically exploding on the surface. Long Fei's mouth formed a smile, his gaze swept across the entire hall. Keep laughing for me. Acting cool? I will not allow anyone to act tough in front of me, Long Fei said in disdain. He stared at Zhao Yiqian and asked, is this 7-rating monster and beasts enough? Elder, how many points does the great 7-rating monster and beasts have? Guanzhen's voice trembled a little as he said, 10,000 points. It was also at this time. Yi Changfeng's body moved, and instantly landed beside Zhao Yiqian. He stared at Long Fei and bellowed, where did you pick up this great 7-rating monster and beast's head? Seventh Prince's eyes turned sinister and his expression recovered a little. He said, you're right, where did you pick up that great 7-rating monster and beast's head? Kid, you cheated. Cheating in the exam grounds, cutting off both hands according to the law. Someone, come, cut off both his hands. Zhao Yiqian was extremely angry in his heart. He was so scared that he peed his pants, he had to take this opportunity back. Ha! A dozen servants quickly ran over and surrounded Long Fei. At this moment, Xiao Dai immediately rushed forward. I want to see who dares to touch Long. The big man also rushed forward. Thin Monkey hesitated for a moment before also rushing out. The young couple also rushed up. They surrounded Long Fei in the middle. Zhao Yiqian sneered and said, there's even help. It just so happens that I can do it on the spot. Yu Wanshan said softly, this is the Xianyu sect, it's not up to you to make decisions here. The law of Zhaoguo was the law of Zhaoguo, it could not stop the Xianyu sect. Long Fei was not afraid at all and laughed blandly. He looked at Yi Changfeng and said, speak of the monster head I picked up, then I would like to ask, where did you pick up all these heads? Zhao Yiqian shouted, I killed them all myself, I am at the 8th stage of the refinement realm. Killing these low-level demon beast is easy. What is your cultivation level? Who do you think you are? You think you can kill great 7-rating monster and beasts? Who would believe that? Long Fei coldly laughed. Being able to kill 4-rating monster and beasts at the 8th level of the refinement realm, then according to your calculations, isn't it normal for my escalate blood 2 stage to be able to kill great 7-rating monster and beasts? As soon as he finished, the entire arena was shocked. Xiao Dai also fiercely turned his head to look at Long Fei, and asked, you, escalate blood 2 stage? Chapter 249 F***CK, this is bad. Chapter 249 F***CK, this is bad. Escalate blood 2 stage? You. Zhao Yiqian looked at Long Fei and started to laugh. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Next. Many people from martial arts arena also started to laugh out loud. Ha ha ha. Who would believe that? Your escalate blood 2 stage, I'm still the true martial emperor. We picked up monster head S, and they even say they're from the escalate blood 2 stage. Do you think we're 3 years old? Do you believe what you say? What a joke. Isn't he the trash who only took the test when he passed the backdoor test using the escalate body 2 stage? Escalate blood 2 stage? If it really was the escalate blood 2 stage, then there was no need for him to participate in these examinations at all. 16 years old, escalate blood 2 stage. If placed in any sect, it would be highly valued and nurtured. How could the Xianyu sect let go of such a genius? Guanzhen said slightly, "Brat, don't talk nonsense." Xiao Dai also whispered, "Along, don't talk nonsense." The big-sized man muttered, "Big brother Along, are you the escalate blood 2 stage?" Thin Monkey was startled for a moment, and then said, "That's impossible." Let alone others, even Xiao Dai didn't believe it. Especially Xiao Dai, she was even a escalate body 2 stage the day before yesterday. How did she become a escalate blood 2 stage now? Long Fei can fly. Xiao Dai immediately said, "Along's brain isn't good, he is a cultivator of the escalate body 2 stage, great clan elder, please do not lower yourself to him, he has always said the wrong things." Yi Changfeng laughed coldly, and said, "So you're saying, this great 7 rating monster and beasts was picked up by him?" Xiao Dai was stunned. At this time, Long Fei walked to the side of the martial arts arena's testing beast and placed his palm on it. The power of the escalate blood 2 stage on his body slightly moved. Buzz. The black stone's light exploded, releasing a blood-red light. Body refining was white light. Blood refinement was a red light. The black stone released a red light, which meant it was escalated blood stage. Then, 2 red lights appeared on top of the black stone and the corresponding red lights were escalate blood 2 stage. This time, the entire arena suddenly quieted down. Even Yi Changfeng was stunned. The only one who was not shocked was Yi Yorong. Red light, escalated blood stage. 2 sections, 2nd rank. It's true, it's really a escalate blood 2 stage. How is this possible? Is the test for the black stone broken? Escalate blood 2 stage? Is there really such a genius? Those people who had mocked Long Fei as a useless fool just now felt extremely uncomfortable looking at the light coming from the black stone as if it had been ruthlessly slapped by Long Fei. Zhao Etian was dumbstruck, his expression turning ugly. He hated Long Fei to the extreme in his heart. The great 7 rating monster and beasts fiercely slapped him with 10,000 points. This time, the escalate blood 2 stage slapped his face again. The dignified 7th prince had supreme authority, yet he had been continuously slapped in the face. He felt extremely unhappy in his heart, and his teeth were grinding until they cracked. Yi Changfeng naturally felt the anger in his heart, and the expression in his eyes darkened as he stared at Long Fei. Long Fei slowly walked back and asked while looking at Yi Changfeng, "What do you mean? My escalate blood 2 stage is nothing. Then what is his body refining 8th level trash something? Those people who laughed at me just now were all at the refinement realm, so who do you think you are? Mocking me? Are you qualified?" Pa. Yi Zichen slapped him hard. This wasn't a slap to the face, this was a kick to the face. 2 fierce. Those people who had mocked Long Fei didn't even dare to raise their heads. The body refinement realm had the right to ridicule others. Yi Changfeng's eyes turned cold and he shouted, "This is the Xianyu sect, don't be too presumptuous." Long Fei retracted his gaze and looked at Yi Changfeng. "Why can Zhao Etian be so impudent, and I can't? Could it be that you've received benefits from him? Or is it because he has the identity of a prince? Great clan elder, you said it too, this is the Xianyu sect. No sect is under the jurisdiction of the government. You said that you wouldn't do it, but why did you choose?" Before he could even finish the word "be a dog," Gui Qingshan suddenly shouted, "Enough." It also interrupted Long Fei in an instant. How could Yi Changfeng not understand? This was blatantly insulting him. His eyes revealed a cold and gloomy look as he coldly said, "Kid, you're tired of living." Gui Qingshan walked over with large strides, covered his entire body, and said indifferently, "Great elder, don't be angry. This guy's brain isn't too good, he always likes to speak nonsense. I will teach him a good lesson." Seeing that his father had rushed over, Xiao Dai was slightly relieved. He said in a low voice, "Father, they are bullying along." Gui Qingshan laughed, and said, "Great clan elder, since your master has so much, don't lower yourself to the same level as him." Yi Changfeng had the intention to kill. Long Fei could feel it, but he was not afraid. Gui Qingshan could feel his killing intent immediately retract. Yi Changfeng knew in his heart, even not taking down Gui Qingshan meant that Gui Qingshan's cultivation was unfathomable, and if he were to make a move, he would not be able to obtain any benefits. Yi Changfeng shouted coldly, "The person you brought back cheated, this exam result is 0, this kind of person with bad character is not qualified to enter Xianyu sect." "Cheating again?" Long Fei was displeased and said, "Do you have any evidence to prove that I cheated? If not, please shut up." Xiao Dai also said, "On what basis do you say we cheated? Why didn't you say that Zhao Yiqian had cheated?" So many people saw that he did not even kill a single demon beast, and only cheated because the people around him helped him kill them. At this time, the big bloke was not convinced. He immediately took out a 4-rating monster and beasts from the spatial wooden signboard. Boom. Immediately after, another 4-rating monster and beasts was taken out. Thin Monkey was the same. The young couple also continuously took out demon beastess from the space ring. Xiao Dai even took out the head of a 5-level monster from the group of space ring. Yi Changfeng's face darkened. Long Fei laughed. 2,000 points is nothing, you still want to get first? Was it fixed? TCH. Zhao Yiqian roared, "All of you are cheating, arrest them all." He had to get the Ancient Moon volume. Who would have thought that each of them would have higher points than him? This made him even more infuriated. Yi Changfeng said, "Your group cheated?" Gui Qingshan slightly said, "Great clan elder, everyone needs to talk about evidence, right? I also won't say that the 7th prince cheated, but if you're going to say that they cheated, then you have to give me proof." Yi Changfeng bellowed, "Evidence?" Gui Qingshan, "Let me ask you, how does the cultivation of the Escalate Blood 2-stage hunt great 7-rating monster and beasts? If this isn't cheating, then what is it? You said you want evidence. Then what evidence do you have to prove that they hunted the demon beast themselves? Who can prove it?" Gui Qingshan was slightly taken aback. Indeed. The Escalate Blood 2-stage killing 7-rating monster and beasts, this was simply a fantasy, impossible thing. At this moment, "I can prove it." Long Fei looked towards the direction of the voice and his heart went cold. "Damn, this is bad. Thank you for your support." Chapter 2250 Winning the First Place. Chapter 2250 Winning the First Place. Who was the speaker? It was the woman who made Long Fei's hands itch, and even put up the condition of touching his chest, Yi Yorong. The Eye of Insight could see through Yi Yorong's body very clearly. It even knew that there was a mole under his armpit. Moreover, Long Fei also knew her secret, that there was a sword wound on her abdomen. None of this is the point. The key thing was that she had tried to kill Long Fei before. Furthermore, she had seen with her own eyes that these demon beasts were not killed by him, but by the Transformers. This way. Long Fei muttered in his heart, "I never thought that. This is bad, this woman will definitely beat me to death. I am fine, I hope she will not implicate Xiao Dai." Yi Yorong slowly walked out, his eyes looking at Long Fei, a faint smile on his lips. Long Fei became even more anxious. If I had known earlier, I would have used the universal soul to kill him. Sigh. Without waiting for Yi Yorong to come up, Long Fei took the lead and said, "I don't know her, and she can't prove me." Humph. Yi Changfeng coldly snorted, and said, "How could someone with such an identity as you recognize her?" Xiao Dai's gaze tensed up. Gui Qingshan's expression also secretly tensed up. What was Yi Yorong doing standing up at this moment? Moreover, she also used the Ancient Moon volume as the reward, so what? Yi Yorong walked in front of him and said indifferently, "You don't recognize me?" Long Fei said, "I don't, I've never seen it, how could I know it?" Yi Yorong said, "I will go and meet you, and I see everything that has happened in the Xianbei mountain." Long Fei's eyes darkened. Damn it. Zhao Yiqian got proud, and said, "Sister-in-law, this brat is cheating," crippling both his hands and feet, throwing him down the mountain. Yi Yorong was now the princess consort. Zhao Yiqian calling her sister-in-law was a very normal thing, of course. He did not know what had happened in the imperial palace. Yi Yorong did not look at Zhao Yiqian, and said, "According to the sect's rules, Those who cheat are not allowed to step half a step into the Xianyu sect. As she spoke, she looked at Long Fei with interest and asked, "Did you cheat?" Yi Changfeng said, "Is there even a need to look? Even if he is a Escalate Blood 2-stage practitioner, he cannot possibly be a match for Great 7 rating monster and beasts, so it is clear that he is cheating." "Exactly. Do you even need to think about it? This kid must be cheating. This kind of person with a dishonest character is not qualified to enter the Xianyu sect. Hurry down the mountain. Get out of Xianyu sect." Many people agreed. Yi Yurong smiled faintly as she looked at Long Fei. She did not say a word, but looked at him with such a playful expression. Long Fei was a little scared in his heart. He directly asked, "Tell me, what are you planning to do?" How regretful. If she had known earlier, she would have attacked her chest. Yi Yurong still did not speak. Yi Changfeng laughed disdainfully. "Brat, you admit it, your result is." Just as he was about to fail in selecting Long Fei, the plaza immediately quietened down. Everyone looked at Yi Changfeng and Zhao Yitian laughed complacently with his mouth wide open. Suddenly, Yi Yurong interrupted, "I can prove that he did not cheat." "Heh." Yi Changfeng swallowed his words and almost got stuck. He looked at Yi Yurong in a daze and asked, "What?" Everyone was shocked. The transformation happened too fast. There was no time to react at all. Long Fei was the same as well, thinking that he had misheard something. Zhao Yitian was even more shocked, and asked, "What thing?" Yi Yurong said blandly once again, "I prove that he did not cheat. I personally witnessed him hunting these demon beasts, but at that time, 2 of them were fighting for power while the other one fled in a sorry state. He seized the opportunity to kill the other one. So, his results are normal. Finished." Yi Yurong looked at Guan Zhen, and said slightly, "Announce your result." Following that, Yi Yurong then walked back to the hall, and when she entered the hall, she turned and smiled at Long Fei. Long Fei felt a chill in his heart. This smile made people shiver. Furthermore, Long Fei felt that she was helping him and wanted him to stay in the Xianyu sect. She had plenty of opportunities to deal with him. He felt as if he wouldn't be able to escape Five Fingers Mountain. Holy **T. Who is this woman? He didn't cheat just because he said so? Exactly. I refuse to accept this. Everyone began to discuss. But Yi Changfeng did not say a word. The elders of the Xianyu sect and the disciples also did not speak anymore, because they knew Yi Yurong's identity very well. This was clearly protecting Long Fei. Yi Changfeng suddenly understood why Yi Yurong would agree to use the ancient moon volume as a reward. They had already known that Zhao Yitian would not be able to get first place. Yi Changfeng looked deeply at Long Fei, and said in his heart, "What exactly is this kid's identity?" Guan Zhen coughed and announced loudly, "Along, 10,000 points. Yay. Ha ha ha. Big brother Along is powerful. Big brother Along is domineering. Ha ha ha. We are the most awesome. 10,000 points, instantly breaking the record. 2,000 points is nothing. Ha ha ha." Xiao Dai and the others were excited. Zhao Yitian was displeased, and said, "Yi Changfeng, what do you mean?" He was instantly enraged. Yi Changfeng's direct call of his name made him extremely unhappy, and without explaining anything, he walked towards the great hall with large strides. Zhao Yitian shouted, "Yi Changfeng, do you F** king want to die? F***ck. What a bunch of bullshit. Miao Chong, kill them all." Zhao Yitian immediately issued a killing order. He had never been humiliated like this before. Miao Chong landed beside the 7th prince and said, "Your Highness, calm your anger. It's best if you don't take action at this time." 7th prince's eyes widened. "Now, your father has been humiliated. Are you telling your father to calm down? Breath your mother." He did not care too much and slapped Miao Chong across the cheek. Miao Chong could hide. But he did not hide. Pa. A resounding slap on the face. Zhao Yitian was also shocked. He never thought that Powerhouse, who was ranked 3rd on the elixir ranking, would actually not avoid his palm. One must know that these powerhouses on the elixir ranking were all unruly and untamed, If it wasn't because of the Zhao family's strong emperor's qi, there wouldn't be many cultivators that would listen to them. To not dodge this slap. Zhao Etienne was a little stunned, his heart turning cold. At the same time, he was greatly satisfied with Miao Chong's loyalty, and with a wave of his sleeves, he said with a deep voice, "Let's go." Miao Chong said, "As you command." She looked at Gui Qingshan with the corner of her eyes. Gui Qingshan's eyes moved slightly. If Miao Chong were to avoid this slap, it was very likely that something would happen. Not now. First place in the assessment, along, come up on stage to receive your reward. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,